What?
Well, I'd have to edit some of that.
Well, the RC ones, I mean.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm.
All right, well, welcome to episode 235. 235, guys. And
That's a lot of time.
It's halfway to 500.
Oh, geez.
Minus 15.
It's going to take us another 10 years to even get close to that.
Imagine.
All right, there's Kirby Hand joining us. This is the second time within
a year.
That's right. We're closing the year out here, and Kirby's joined. A few weeks ago, he was on the show, and now he's back.
A few months ago, probably.
58 miles south of me, Kirby Hand, everybody.
That's it, huh? 58 miles?
And 1,081 miles, I looked this up, from me, Jason Ruona. Jason's like, that's not far enough.
Yeah, I mean, isn't there some sort of jurisdiction, or I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, I think so.
Something that who's going to join us on the show here a little later, Tyler Hooks, that he mentioned to me the other day, is he listens to, is it a motocross podcast that says they are the, they specialize in like the longest podcast? Is that what it is? It's called The Longest Podcast or something like that.
That's the name of it?
I would something say, like that.
When you say motocross podcast, it's either Pulp MX or DMXS are the first two to pop in my mind.
Okay. Yeah, he said there's one that's like they do like 5 8-hour episodes or something.
Pulp MX. Like yep. They do a live show on a Monday, and it's about 5 to 6 hours sometimes.
Oh.
Let's see if we can beat that, guys.
Yeah.
So you mean hour-wise, it's the longest?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's probably one of the longest running ones too, right?
Yeah, I think I've actually listened to every episode, not even shitting you. And he puts out Steve Mathis, under the Pulp MX umbrella. There's so many different. They're still motocross related, but kind of like different formats, like a one-on-one interview for like an hour, or now they started doing these what the heck's it called? Rewatchable. So they'll take a memorable race from yesteryear and they'll watch it and then discuss it and whatnot. Tons of content from Pulp. So yeah, that's what I listen to all week. Yeah.
What do you mean we can do that?
Bill Simmons, he does rewatchables. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's called re-raceables. Yeah.
Okay, re-raceables. And then so Bill Simmons does rewatchable. Okay.
Gotcha.
I like that, re-raceables. I said
rewatchables, yeah.
Can we steal that, re-raceables, without getting in trouble?
Absolutely.
What would we watch, though?
When we started, I actually bounced a lot of questions off of Mathis to ask him, yeah, which I then forwarded to you. Guess you forgot. But no, there was some questions we had, and I'm like, I'll send him an email. If he answers it, great. If not, but he got back to all my questions.
Oh, wow.
I think he's been doing podcasts since 2008.
Damn. So he was on the cutting edge.
Yeah. There was that DMXS Moto podcast. They've been around before him, but they usually do one, maybe once a week, where, God, he does probably under the whole Pulp umbrella. He's probably doing like, I'd have to say average like 3 a week. Yeah. Tons of content, which is fine by me because I listen to it all. It all interests me. So
he's like the Conrad Thompson of motocross.
Oh,
better, because this guy actually he was a former mechanic. So yeah, he's got really good insight. He's abrasive. He's a libtard, which is a bummer, but you can tell he listens to Stern, and his wife listens to Stern, and you can kind of catch that vibe of him trying to be like him, kind of.
Oh,
but it's like, just don't do that. Do your own thing. He's,
Right.
and he's a magazine editor. Like he writes articles for Racer X and shit. So he's all in the moto scene, been like his whole life practically. So just like Jason has been RC racing his whole life.
That's right. And I used to watch motocross in the 90s on ESPN after school. Or is it Supercross? It's when
Monster Trucks?
It's when Damon Bradshaw.
The Beast of the East. Damon used to ride. He was monster truck guy. Yeah.
Well, so back in his Supercross days or motocross or
both. Yep.
That's what I used to watch after school.
Dang.
They'd have those on ESPN. Watch a
Look at
bunch
you.
of those. So, what was that like? Might have been like 93, 94.
Early 90s. Yep.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yep. Back in the two-stroke days.
So let's check out the. Well, wait a second here. There he is.
Spencer Rifkin, TB12.
I don't have my normal where I can see the chat.
Oh, you don't? Oh, maybe they did update, so maybe they changed it. Let me check here.
I just saw it pop up.
Oh. Maybe no. So I have private chat, but I don't have the
Apple probs.
Well, this is through my computer. So.
It's an Apple, though, I imagine, right?
No.
Says he's an Apple fan.
We're on PC. Remember the old commercials, the Apple guy and the PC guy? Remember when they used to
very
do that?
vaguely, like if you wouldn't have mentioned that, I would have totally forgot about him, honestly.
And it was like the,
It was a while ago.
Does that work, Jason?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Good job, Gotti. Look at him go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Back
I mean,
there
they update stuff
plugging
and
in
then
different
it changes
wires.
settings. So.
Just move a couple wires around.
We're getting some questions here already. I like the cut of his jib.
Where's that at? Where am I? Oh, Joey's there. Who's this dude? Oh, his name's on the screen there. I like the cut of his jib.
There you go.
Okay. Well, whoever you're talking about.
Talk about my jib like that, huh?
So there's Joe says Justin Long was the Apple guy. And
oh, yes. Yeah.
And then so he was also the kid that played in was it Dodgeball? He was in Dodgeball.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. He was the nerd. He was the geek.
And ironically, in the commercial, he's the cool guy, right? The cool guy with the apple.
I forgot he was. I can absolutely picture it now.
And then
I just lost respect for him.
Nerdy guy. And then the nerdy guy was about the PC.
Remember those OG apples that were like, it was just the monitor, everything in the monitor, and they were like a clear colored. Yeah, I think they had like 5 different color options.
Mm-hmm. That was probably what, late 90s or 2000, something like that.
Yeah.
So we got some Brandon Powell states Damon Bradshaw was the first guy to win Supercross on a 4-stroke Team Yamaha.
Tidbit.
Another tidbit. Yeah, was that the beginning of the McGrath era, or was McGrath right after that?
I think no, McGrath was before that because he was all 2 strokes.
Really?
Yeah,
McGrath, that was still not racing, right?
McGrath, he's actually a brand ambassador for Cowie.
Oh wow, cool.
Still, like I think he does a little, maybe a little bit of Supercross testing. He's a product developer for Maxxis tires. So he's still very into moto, very much so.
So Jared Tebow said it was Doug Henry.
Tebow's right.
We got a bunch of Stephen McPeak.
Yeah, I just remember that was during the time when ESPN, they would run a lot of different stuff in that 90s. They were just throwing stuff in the afternoon to see what it stuck. They had short course trucks, the Mickey Thompson off-road. You remember
that's right.
that?
Yeah.
They would do that. They
I
would
used to love that video game.
Obviously, they do monster trucks.
Did I
They do
spend some money on that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
That
about the
was
steering wheel? The way
that
the
game
steering
was the
wheel
best.
spun.
Just on the 180s, just
Yeah.
oh, man.
Yeah.
They had that arcade game at King RC.
Oh, really?
And yeah, obviously
wow.
I spent a lot of summers at King
Yeah.
in North Carolina, so there was a lot of quarters spent on that game.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So we get another big correction from Jared. Bradshaw was before McGrath.
All right, Jared, you could lead the chat. No, I'm kidding. We don't want to be corrected here, Jared.
You know
Come
what? Jared would be called an expert in this field as well.
Well, maybe we got to get Jared in here. I'll send you the link, Jared.
I see Jared's out running a lot of Kirby would relate here mountain biking. Jared's killing it on the mountain bike stuff right now.
Is it really?
Yeah. I
All
saw
you RC guys are in the mountain bikes, right?
A lot
of them
are in the roadies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But there are
I noticed Jared goes down to what did we say the big mountain bike thing is in Arkansas? What's the name of the city? It starts with a B.
Bentonville. Oh
Yeah.
wait, no. Is that? Yeah, that's where Walmart's from. Bentonville.
Yeah.
Bentonville.
My friend Jeff just bought a house there, right on the trail.
Jeez.
It went up.
That's pretty dope.
It went up for sale. He's been going there a lot. He said it went up for sale and he bought it that day. Basically, it went on the market and he basically looked at the photos and put in an offer and he's there. He moved everything there. So
wow,
sweet.
He absolutely loves it. He fell in love with going there. I think we talked about this a little bit before, but yeah, he absolutely loves being there and all the money Walmart put into that area. He said it's just insane.
Yeah.
You serious? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like building trails and whatnot. Yeah. Lots of money put into it.
Walmart did?
Yeah. Yep. Because that's where Walmart is from, Bentonville, Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't think they really.
But they put money into it.
Much about the community.
Well,
I mean, I saw it on South Park. It looks like Walmart rolls in and just destroys the freaking town.
South Park's pretty accurate too.
Yeah,
so I see where you're coming from. Yeah, they refer to Bentonville as the mountain bike capital of the states, and I'm sure there are a lot of regions could argue that, but yeah, Walmart puts a lot of money into it.
Yeah, he raves about it.
And where he moved from.
Trail?
Well, he's been a little bit everywhere. In the 90s, he was in Florida. Then he moved to Seattle. He moved to California. He's been in Georgia. He's been in Boston. He's been all over.
He's
working, moving.
He's hit all the corners.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. So, yeah, he really likes that. He's kind of in retirement phase, so
sweet.
He's kind of settling in over there. That's what he likes. He's like the king of the hobbies. Like he's done them all. Like, I mean, if you name something, he's done it and tried it. Obviously, RC was one of the things. That's where I met him, but he's tried it all, done it all, between surfing and snowboarding and mountain bikes. And
so he gets bored fast and moves on.
RC, real racing, surfing.
What a show off.
Gambling. You've gone to Vegas. I mean, he's done it all, man. And so it's funny because it's like he's got a pretty good, obviously you do that much stuff, you got a pretty good base of
It's like,
your
man.
opinion about all these different things. It's like, yeah, I've done that.
I bet video games wasn't.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I'd done that. Yeah.
So
Man,
I
save
don't
some
think
for the
he's-
rest of us, bro.
Yeah, no kidding. So, well, the last half dozen or so. So, where is Joe Zaire? He said he's going to jiu-jitsu right now. And my friend Jeff, I don't believe he's done jiu-jitsu. So maybe that's next.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done that. Joe Zaire ran out of talent podcast. Someone sent me a clip, Jason. They were talking about you on the show.
Okay.
Saying that when you are on the podcast here and you say, that's like a big,
That's a tell.
that's like your FU to something. When you, it's interesting. I'll send you the clip.
Okay.
I thought I did in the chat, but you probably didn't listen to it.
I was waiting for you to say that they turned it into a drinking game. Every time Jason says,
They were saying, like, yeah, when Jason says, it's like, since Jason can't say F
his, yeah.
That's
his diplomatic, yeah.
Right. Well, Jerry's saying that would be a great drinking game, by the way.
There you go.
There's quite a few of those, like
quite the profile pic.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has those things that you kind of.
Oh my God! When we first started a podcast, remember Kirby? I used to say Kirby had something. I can't remember what it was, but I used to say definitely a lot. And Kirby would say something. I forget what it was, but it was constant throughout the podcast.
Shut up! Really?
But that's when the podcast was. Just
I was never alerted of this.
Okay, Kirby, what's in the news today?
You're all definitely.
Team Associated came out with an umbrella. It's like, I mean, remember that one?
Yes.
That was an actual
Team
Associated product, by the way.
I still have those notes somewhere.
Yeah, we used to take notes before a podcast, Jason. Can you imagine that?
Oh.
I have a notepad.
Well, Jason takes notes, but I mean, we actually kind of wrote a segment out, for like 3 different segments, and I was like, this isn't working.
God, I remember how nervous we got for that shit, dude. It was like...
I can't believe it.
God, we got Joel Johnson on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that Gotti would get all choked up over that one.
I wasn't nervous with Joel.
He was.
Was I?
So nervous. No, I don't. I'm joking.
When we worked together, when Joel was at Trinity, I used to just hang out in his office all the time.
He's like Gotti.
Do you need anything, Joel?
Do you need coffee? Did you get coffee?
Do you need anything, Joel?
Dude, we went to lunch and that's when I had that red Ford Focus, if you remember, Kirby. I don't know if you remember. And Joel drove it because he wanted to drive it. So we went to lunch. We went down the road to get a sub, and I'm like, man, Magic Man's driving my car. This is amazing.
You go to Delicious Subs.
So anyway, funny story. And Joel could back this up. We were heading back to Trinity, and it was snowing that day. Like, just nothing major. Just a light coating on the road. But this car coming towards us literally does a 360 right in the middle of the road, and then just goes right past us. And I was like, man, look at Magic. He just navigated right around that car like it was nothing. He didn't panic or anything.
This guy's got mega skills.
Just
I was like, Joel, you roll, dude.
Gotti's like, I would have hit that guy.
I definitely would have. I would have panicked.
Did you go to Delicious Subs?
That's what it was. Delicious Subs.
Right
absolutely.
Next to Blockbuster.
Yep, absolutely. No, wait.
It was very close to Blockbuster. You could actually walk
we had
Delicious Subs.
Right, but we drove.
Who's going to walk, dude?
Right, okay. Yeah. It was Delicious Subs. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
The place was good.
Yeah.
Is that like Miami Subs?
Probably better.
Delicious Subs of Edison, New Jersey. So if anybody out that way.
Let's see if it's open still. I'm going to Google that.
Yeah, check that out.
I'm going to put that in my Google
that's
machine.
Exactly where we went.
Yeah. Let's go back up to the top here.
And of course I made Joel pay, but...
You made Joel pay?
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't make him pay. He offered to pay, and I said, I can't turn that down.
It's like
I seriously wanted to pay, but he's like, no, I'll pay. And I'm like,
all right.
I was like, man, Magic Man's buying my food. This is awesome.
Trinity Black Card.
Yeah.
Driving my car, buying me lunch.
Dude, I thought it was so awesome. Joel was driving my car. I wish I had a cell phone back then like this, when you take photos and shit. But But Joel could back that story up.
Photos would be in your story.
Yeah. Bringing up my memories. Tag Joel. Hey Joel, remember? Drove my car back in the day.
Well, he's like, man, the Ford Focus, man, I want to drive that thing because it was brand new at the time.
How could you say no? You
2000.
You can't say no to Magic, man.
Oh, hell no. That
What
was.
was it? What
It was
year?
a 2000 Ford Focus.
Okay.
That was Gotti returning the favor for that P-Main victory.
Yep, absolutely.
That's true. Let me drive your Focus.
Building the diff.
Jerry's saying that's the pristine handling characteristics of a Ford Focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nimble.
But I think Magic had a lot to do with it. He didn't panic. He didn't panic when that car was coming at us.
Cool, yo. Joel's cool as ice.
Yeah, he was. Those. I mean, it's if there was another name besides Magic, it probably would be the Iceman, right?
The Iceman.
There you go. RC Jers says Edison Jers.
That's right.
Who's that?
36 East Meridian Street.
Oh, Edison, New Jersey.
God, I can't believe I drove to and from Edison every weekend. Jesus. I regret doing that.
Really? I don't know.
There was so much stuff down in Jersey, dude. I was like, God, why did I just...
And we really
drove back to little tiny ass PA town. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. And we really didn't start hitting Jersey until like near our end of the run there.
Yeah.
Like we started going to the Woodbridge Mall a lot.
Dude, those malls blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's when malls were a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
But yeah, we go in those two malls. It was like Menlo. It was Menlo Park and what'd you say, Woodbridge?
Yeah, Woodbridge.
Like those malls were like, holy crazy.
Yeah, that's when it was happening. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Charlie Swanko's mentioned here that on the back of Jim Dieter's RC trading card, it had him labeled as the Iceman. Jim Dieter was the Iceman.
Dieter's car. Oh, that's a perfect nickname for Dieter.
Yeah.
I mean, Dieter got zero reaction. That's why he's the Iceman.
There's that NBA video clip of Larry Bird as a coach, and Reggie Miller hits like the game-winning three, and it's like his facial expression does not change. Nothing. Everyone is just going crazy, and he's just standing there like
Bird's like, yeah, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
God, I forgot he was a coach there for a little bit.
Yeah,
he was actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's kind of done it all. We saw Jim Dieter at the Team Associated race there at Trackside when I was up there a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's Jim doing? Good.
Yeah.
Dieter works.
Yeah, I mean,
Jim's Jim, man. He hasn't changed.
He was still helping people.
He's a man.
Yeah.
He's still helping people, and
that's another guy we got to get back on the podcast.
Sometime. Legend.
Yeah.
Absolute legend.
I couldn't believe, because remember we were going to have him on the podcast, and we did like what, in 2013, I think it was.
Seems like eons ago, yeah.
And we were like a little worried because, Jim, it doesn't seem like he talks much, just he's very quiet, not many words. But man, he was awesome, and he just kept going and going with stories and everything.
Yeah.
Good one. We got to get him back on. We got to get a lot of these guys back on again.
I remember, I probably told this story before, but the first interaction I ever had with Dieter, I had the RC trading cards. I got a set for Christmas, and my brother got a set for Christmas. And I wish I knew where they're at. I have no clue where they were, but kind of, I inherited both sets, kind of. And I took one set and just took them in the races and got them signed if any of those racers were there. And Roar 92 Roar Dirt Oval Nats in Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. It was a weird format. Like that dirt track was awesome at night, so they covered it during the day, and the racing actually went down at night. Anyways, that was the year Trinity got the Reflex 10. Right. So on one side of the track it was Trinity, other side track it was Custom Works.
Wow.
And over on the side was bowling. Bowling was because the track was so smooth. Bowling could run pan cars there.
Wow.
Bowling actually TQ'd stock, I think, 2-wheel drive stock. Anyways,
With a pan car on a dirt oval.
with a pan car with like a pound of lead on it. Yeah. Silicone tires, because that's how much this track was like glass. It was a tri-oval, not much bank to it. It was amazing. But that was the first race I was, there's Jim Dieter. I'm going to take my card over to him. I was like nervous as shit because just the aura Dieter gives off is like,
yeah,
don't touch
probably don't want to be bothered by anybody. But he signed my card, and that was awesome. Trinity and Losi busted out Jack Johnson for that race and Kyle Reed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like dirt oval war. It was something else. Yeah.
Which track was that?
If you had, cell phones back in the day of that whole aura of that event, it was awesome. The Sugar Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Which later turned into, they paved it and made a paved tri-oval. I forget which Sugar Hill. It was in Sugar Hill, Georgia.
Okay, yeah.
I believe. But it was like amongst pine trees and stuff. It was really neat. It was a cool race. That was my first national I ever raced. 92. The weekend before that was the 92 Roar Paved Oval Nationals at King RC. So we traveled down, stayed there on like, I don't know, the weekend to watch stuff because Rob Cutman was there racing it. And then we traveled to the Dirt Nats to race that. It was epic.
Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm. That was a one of a kind track. That track.
I remember a lot of people talking about going there. Was there an off-road track there too?
There was, but it was kind of like, it almost felt like, although that was a Roar National weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It almost kind of felt like it was kind of like second. Yeah, there's an off-road track over there. No big deal.
Charlie is saying there was a breakdown of him and his style, and in quote, like he's got ice in the veins. Dieter is the Iceman, or something like that on back of the card. Okay,
absolutely Dieter.
I'm gonna have to see if I could find mine. I
wish I knew where they were. It was never got Pavidas's autograph.
Even at the 96 Nats, you didn't run around there.
Yeah, no.
Pavidas didn't want to give you the autograph.
He was like, probably a cool guy, me anyways, Get out of here, kid.
Beat it, kid.
Beat it. Rob was in those cards.
Yeah, no doubt. RC Jers is saying they recently just finished a crazy huge mall in North Jersey. Has amusement park, water park, ski slope, etc. Okay, now
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, you can watch. You can go on YouTube and check them all out.
Did you? I swear to God, I watched something that was indoor ski slope in Jersey. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the mall's massive. They opened up right before the pandemic broke out. And so yeah, obviously, I really don't think they're still probably up and running full bore. I don't know. Well, maybe now they are, but
I don't know. Gotti, have you been to Colonial Park Mall in Harrisburg at all?
Yeah. Is that the one that has the steps and everything?
Yeah. That place used to be the Mecca. You know what I mean? Like back in the day. Now it's like
nobody in there.
Oh my God. It's sad. It's really sad.
I was in there over the summer. Yep.
Probably. I bet half the stores are closed.
Did you get a t-shirt airbrushed?
What's that?
Did you get a t-shirt airbrushed?
I think there's a store that has like a boardwalk vibe of t-shirts, screen print them here, iron on stuff. But yeah,
I remember going into the early malls, when I was a kid, and they'd have those airbrush shops in there where you could get a
custom deal.
Yeah,
make me some Masami pants here.
You could probably do that. They would probably do that for you.
Wow.
Yeah, we only saw that stuff like going to the beach or something. Like, yo, they're airbrushing stuff. That's wild.
Jeff Cuffs is saying that the ski slope caught on fire.
Now that's irony right there.
Wow.
What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, how's that happen?
So it's done. I was gonna go wax my board and get a few runs in.
So it's a board, not skis.
Oh, I board. Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead skiing.
Wait,
Like
what?
me driving a short course truck. Come on, man.
Not happening.
Not happening.
I'm getting behind on my comments here.
See, I only see the ones you put up, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah. So what you got to do is
Let me plug this wire back
So,
in.
Jason, I sent you a message. Can you forward that link to
I did.
Tyler? Oh, great.
we're good.
Okay, and also Chris Bing also has the link to jump in the show, so we might have Chris Bing in here tonight if he can make it.
Ooh,
So-
feels like '96 all over again.
Exactly, because
That's
it's
my
been
roommate.
25 years, dude. 25
That's my
years.
roommate.
Yeah, it's Kirby's old roommate.
PS, God, what was that? PS1 days?
Yeah.
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 What was
of
on a
going back and-
PS? What was a game on PS1?
All right, well, speaking of going back and forth to Jersey, like Kirby was saying, he would travel back and forth on the weekends. The one weekend he stayed home, and I went home, and Kirby's like calling me, and he's like, "You got to get here now, GTA." He just got GTA, remember?
The first Jason
First Grand Theft Auto, the bird's eye
okay.
view Grand Theft Auto,
the first one ever. So this
Yeah,
was
okay.
It was 98 probably.
98, 99,
Yeah.
yeah, somewhere in there.
It was like the first game I've ever played that had cursing in it. I'm like, what? It was wild. It was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, he's telling me to get home or, get back here quick. You got to play this. And I think I did leave early and I came home. I came back to Jersey on a Sunday.
Remember we had there was a touring car racing game, like Euro touring cars.
Mm-hmm.
And this controller I had was very much like a transmitter. It was kind of a trigger underneath with a wheel. And it felt, I mean, at that time, as close you're getting to like an RC simulator. It was really cool. So we spent hours on that. And probably NHL 98 we played a lot.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we played that a ton.
96.
Charlie's saying Kirby Han was one of the first traveling racing legends I had heard of when I was a kid. They came into our town and raced at our local track and put a new lap on the track record, if I recall correctly.
I can't recall.
Kirby putting a new lap
Guess
record
what year?
on a
Guess
track.
what year that would have been?
96.
96. Wisconsin
Christ.
Triclone. That track was amazing. Oh my god, that whole facility was awesome. That was something else. I think that was obviously driving far west we've ever traveled for a race. But that was epic. What a weekend that was.
Oh, so you remember this?
Yeah. I don't remember the track lap record. I don't remember that, but I remember that race the A main. I remember that pretty good. And somewhere it's on a VHS. No clue where it'd be. A main was on there. Yeah.
That is crazy.
How about
Ran a 10L. Ran a 10L SS.
Did you really?
Powered by East Coast Motors.
left tire salute, guys? He's on. We got to hit left tire salute.
Jason.
Yeah, we can't figure out which way. I'm always like, which ways I go. Yeah, I remember when Kirby came to Roadrunners Raceway in Bloomsbury, Pennsylvania, and I think it was before because they were going to have the nationals there. I think it was 95.
Yeah, I remember that was a big talk.
95.
We're like, there's no way this place can handle a nationals because it was awesome, but
Right, but you guys
it wasn't
showed up
that big.
you guys showed up to a weekend race just to get familiar with the track, I think. Because I remember walking through the door and the buzz was Kirby Hands here. And I'm like, what? What? Like, Yeah, he's here, man.
Go
He's
get the
here."
news cameras.
And yeah, Ricky Henchkins.
Yes, Rick Henchins. Wonder what he's up to. Jeez.
I don't know. His dad might still have the not far from me here in Cunningham.
Party beverage.
Yeah, Party
Fif-
Beverage. He used to have that.
I think he sold it, man.
59
Yeah.
miles away.
No,
15.
it's only maybe 7 miles away from me.
Where?
But
What town is that? Cunningham. You said.
Cunningham.
Yes.
Yep.
Right off the exit.
Yeah. I think he did sell that though. You're correct. His dad.
He's like, I'm retiring early.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, I stopped in to see Rick Senior,
Mm-hmm.
and this was years ago. And he said Ricky was in the service, but I don't know what branch. But I don't remember. But
Yeah, I remember. Probably the last time I talked to him was going to a pit bike race in Berwick because I'd get off that exit.
Okay.
I think I stopped in one time. I'm like, got to go in and talk to Rick. So yeah,
Wow.
that was like 2008.
Jeez.
We got Charlie Swanko with a recollection of his whole main event here. I didn't
All right,
realize Charlie said he was leading, getting taken out by Bob Smith, which then Kirby came back and won, he thinks.
You're correct. I started 9th on the grid, so I just kind of squeaked in. The
Wow.
way the start grid was, the loop was like right at the middle of the straightaway. So the start grid was on the other side of that, literally 10 feet before the first turn. And this tri-oval was like a symmetric tri-oval. It wasn't like an offset second turn. And from 9th place going into turn 1, I think I was probably top 3. Like I got a hole shot, which on cap tires was hard as shit, but I was like, oh my God, I got a hole shot. And even before I got out of the turn, I got hit, spun around, came from the back, came through the pack. I think
Avoided Bob Smith.
avoided Bob Smith. And second lap from the end, out of the second turn, I was under Chris Smith because he was slowing down, dumping. I was still. That was one thing I did very well back in the day. I could save the batteries.
That's what made you a legend.
But got under him, and I remember watching the video 100 times. Chris Smith turned down once, and then turned down again and took me out. Car like flew into the turn. Richie King was leading. I got back on, and last lap, right around turn 2 in the tri-oval, I passed Richie, came around to win it. Yeah, it was pretty epic. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
It was pretty sweet. And there was so much like drama going down at the end there. It was like crazy. Gary from Parma was calling the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like even he was like kind of like, what happened? gotta look at the results to see who won it.
Right.
And yeah, I was like, I knew I won it. I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe
Yeah.
that was wild.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's amazing you remember that. Like,
And that was
the
on
details of that.
that was on VHS. I remember Richie King's wife I think she might have actually recorded it. We got a copy of it.
Wow.
And Richie dumped, and I still had plenty to go. And yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Oh, look, I have Tyler Hooks backstage.
Heyo, in the
I
green
didn't
room.
realize that it didn't play a little jingle here for me. Tyler. There it looks like Tyler's in his car, man.
I am.
Oh, there you go. He's driving and podcasting.
Just finished up.
Oh, he's not driving. Okay, he's got 2
Not
hands
driving.
on
I'm
it.
parked.
All right, I didn't realize you were backstage. It usually lets me know, but I didn't see you there. Sorry.
I was just chilling in the green room. It's pretty nice back there.
Yeah, we got some beverages back there for you.
Got the amenities.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, good. Well, you're welcome.
We yeah, the whole green room effect.
Yeah. This is brought to you by J Concepts. So what's up, Tyler? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. got some running done at the track after regular work activities. All of, like my roommates and stuff, they came down to Austin to run at Thornhill, and so I get to see my parents. They live down here, and they're all going to go back home, and I'm going to spend the weekend with my parents and do the New Year's stuff and race at Thornhill on Saturday. So getting some running in.
Damn.
Sounds like a good week.
So you're doing 8 scale right now?
Yep. Yeah, we got some running done yesterday and today, and then I'll probably go back on Friday and race on Saturday and go home. Trying to get ready for SIC in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's happening quick. We're going to come up on CRCRC event. That's coming up soon. Then the Big Dirt Oval, Chili Bowl, and then SIC, right?
Yeah, I'm bummed to not be able to go to the Chili Bowl this year. The one time I was able to go, I had a really good time. Plus, it was just cool to go to the actual Chili Bowl. But yeah, I had an awesome time. Got to learn a lot. Got to pit with the Custom Works guys and learn from everybody over there, which was neat. And yeah, so I'm bummed I can't really go back, but hopefully eventually those two events will end up on different weekends and then we can do both. But as of now, got to pick what the companies would like.
That was
Oh.
a solid ring.
Yeah, who's getting a ring there?
I'm trying to I'm going to turn it off.
Oh, okay.
That was solid.
The group chats are
Banging.
right now. Banging.
We got.
What have you guys been up to?
I mean, we got Tyler. He does a lot of the live RC stuff. A lot of posting. He's are you the silly season master of?
I guess I don't really know anything. Like this whole weekend was really surprising.
But you've been the poster, right? You have like a little story that you keep track of, right?
Yeah, we try to kind of keep track of everything, let everybody know what's going on. Which right now it's not super updated because yesterday when I clocked in, by the end of the day there were 21 different articles and like 18 of them were silly stuff. So
Okay.
So yeah, I need to go back tomorrow and update that article so it's got everything. But yeah, apparently in the toy car world, there's a lot of moving pieces this year.
And I guess it kind of came in a little under the radar, but then kind of exploded right at the end, right?
Yeah, I really thought that like of the 2-year swings that this year was like the year where less of the stuff changes. I feel like most of or I guess when I say when I think of like the big three guys like Cavallari, Tebow, and Mayfield, their stuff, for the most part, I think all takes place like next year. So I kind of was like equating everybody to being on that 2-year cycle. But I think I must be wrong because a lot of people are changing up stuff this year, or there are, a lot of these younger guys that have, 1-year deals or like every year they, redo everything. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there's a lot more going on than I was expecting.
Right at the beginning of the chat here, we had Alex Sturgeon. I thought we could wait because you're the silly season expert. Alex Sturgeon right away. He's like, "All right, what's going on at TLR?" That was his. And you've been reporting on all this stuff, so. Yeah, what's going on at TLR?
What do you mean? What's going on?
So they've had just yesterday or the day before, they had the Fuller brothers announce that they're leaving, and then Rinderneck announced that he's leaving as well. I don't know. They almost seem like coincidental to me. Like nothing really serious is happening over there, unless they're behind the scenes, like there's somebody that's hard to deal with or something like that we aren't like super aware of or whatever. But like the Fuller brothers, I personally, I just heard that they, maybe were searching around trying to find some money or something like that, and they found an offer that they feel is better. I do think it's kind of strange, like because Mason for the past couple of years has been so good for 10 scale or at 10 scale. I thought it was really strange, like this year and a lot of last year, like they've totally abandoned running 10 scale at all. Just been kind of like doing the 8 scale stuff, which I thought was strange. Like he's had some good results. Like let's say 50% of the 8 scale races that he goes to, he gets, the results that he's looking for. Like he squeaks onto the podium in something or in multiple classes. But in 10 scale, like he was definitely a threat in like all the races he was going to. So I thought that was weird. And it looks like he might be kind of furthering that, like solidifying like where he's going. It's going to be like primarily 8 scale stuff. And for Tom, I don't know, maybe Tom was getting a little bit of money and they were saying, next year you're not going to get a little bit of money. Like if I was in that situation and like I was getting some money and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to back you off, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave too. Like I don't, whatever. Like I had good results, like or good enough results, I thought, like I'm gonna take off. Like he got a podium at Surf City and he's been, pretty consistent and fast. And, a lot of the TLR guys, him included, had a really good 10 scale nationals, which was like cool to see for them. So if I had to like make just throw a dart at the wall guess for Tom, it would be that maybe they were like, yeah, we don't want to give you whatever deal you had, whether it was just, 100% or like he was getting money or whatever. And they just wanted to back him off from that. And, he's got a job in the industry. He's working for R1. He's doing the California thing. Like if they're not going to give you what they were going to give you, or maybe they are, and he just wanted to make a change, like, sure, do it, go do something else and see if it works out. If it doesn't, then whatever. Like there's a bunch of good 10 scale cars, so just pick one.
Yeah, I mean, I think to bring Gotti and Kirby up to speed. Basically, Mason, Fuller, and his brother Caden, they've been running for TLR. Was it 7 years?
Something like that. It's been quite a while.
Young kids. I mean, Caden's really young, but I've been watching Mason and his brother race, ever since they basically could just see over the rail of the driver's stand. And
got to use a milk crate.
Yeah. And, I think in some respects, Mason had a really good 2021. He had I know Gotti and I talked about it once. He had the miraculous pass on Mayfield at the Southern Nats where the e-buggy came to the last turn and he had the perfect got the perfect inside line. They hit, Mayfield went tumbling and he went across the finish line. And that was kind of, I mean, you don't want to say claim to fame, but that was the claim to fame.
His moment.
That was his moment of the year. He got that win in the e-buggy main there. And then Tom won the Reedy race of the open class in the Reedy race a couple of years ago. Was it the last time we ran the Reedy race or was it the time before that?
I want to say it was the last one. It was him and Aiden. They split one.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple TLR guys that I think everybody was kind of thinking was going to be with them for quite a while. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't. I guess the Tom thing with Tom, I had a little bit of a feeling. I guess maybe he, it wasn't going to be an easy end of the year. To be back with TLR, but I thought for sure Mason and them would be with TLR. But yeah, kind of interesting.
So where did they end up?
I don't know. Maybe the king of the
silly season. Drop it.
King. I don't know. He's
actually trying to think. I mean, were the brothers signed or I don't know.
The rumors that I've heard, and I haven't checked Facebook in the last 4 hours, so who knows? But
oh man,
yeah, they may have posted it by now. I have no idea. But the rumor that I had heard is that they will be at HB Racing for next year, which that's kind of what I was hinting at. It if they wanted to run 10 scale stuff, they can obviously they can run 4-wheel, but they're kind of taking a step back at having a full program for that. And then I don't know what Tom's going to do. I don't know. He said his post that he made, he says he's going to be at CRC. I don't know if he'll show up with the same stuff or something different. I would assume if he changes something, he'll just run associated stuff or something like that, which, I mean, that's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the one thing that I thought was going to be kind of funny is that you had all these 100% guys or whatever, or 100% level guys leave Associated, and then you had this announcement super late that they're leaving Losi too. So it was almost like, what if they just all flip, just one go one to the other, like just even it back out. I know that's not gonna happen, but it was just like, why don't you guys just do that? You all just like, you guys drop two, just flip them around, it'll be fine.
It makes
Well,
sense.
we need to have the trades. If we could do the trades
that'd
like
be
in
awesome.
sports, it's like, a package deal. The on the scroll at the bottom.
Jason
on the ticker
gets traded.
Yeah, on the ticker in a 4-way
Jason
trade.
gets traded.
This Associated puts Jason on a trading block.
I'm like,
Back to TLR you go.
28 years. This is what I get. I'll have to do
Jason,
one of those.
They're like, no, you got to run the double X. I'm sorry.
2022 would be them trading him out for Dunbar.
Yeah.
Bring it
Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
It's like, now that you're on the TLR team, that means you're also on Horizon. So we're going to put you on our monster truck team.
Jason's like, yes, finally. Yes. My prayers have been answered. So, all right, as an outsider, why are all these deals like, it seems like, because I kind of pay attention. I see the updates on Facebook and whatnot. Why are all these deals happening like mid-December? It seems odd to me that it wouldn't be like first of the year or first of the month. Like for motocross, it seems like October 1st that's when everybody's like, okay, I can announce that I'm with so-and-so. But I don't know, these deals, it just seems like they're just random dates, or I don't know. As an outsider, that's one thing I've observed.
Personally, I think it's like, unfortunately, it's gonna sound like the legitimacy of the hobby or sport, like motocross, for example, which I follow too. It's like a lot of people know what's happening, but they know what's happening, like let's say before October 1st.
Sure.
So it's like we're all talking about it, whatever, and then the guy posts it on October 1st or whatever.
Yeah, it's like we knew this for 3 months, but here's official. Yeah.
Right. So it's like this kind of thing. It's like these guys, they get really excited. Like they find out, let's say November 15th, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to post about it. Like the contract technically says that like I'm done. So I'm just going to do it, whether that's, the right thing to do or not, which I would agree. I think, like whatever the date is, whether it's December 30th or December 15th, whatever you want to call it, like it would make more sense if it came out like that. But like, for me, like at Live RC, like if they're gonna post it, then I'm gonna post it. Like I'm not gonna wait because I think that that's the right thing to do. I'm just gonna do it. But I agree. I think that I don't know. It'll never happen because
we should have a signing day.
Yeah,
that'd be sweet. Gotti, start it. Let's go.
National Signing Day.
We should. It'd be exciting.
I see Tom just checked in too. So one of the guys in the conversation. What he doesn't know is
his ears were ringing.
What he doesn't know is he has been traded for me, and I am going to TLR, and he's going to Associated. So.
Great. Hold up. I gotta put this on my Facebook right now. I'm gonna tag Brent in this.
We got the screen at the bottom of the screen.
Traded. Done.
Brent's like, that's all right. I can beat him in 40 plus buggy anyways.
Yeah. And we can let him go over there. We have that covered already. We're getting in a much younger, hungrier racer.
Yeah, exactly.
Traded out 25 plus years. No big deal. Yeah.
You aged yourself out, Jason.
I know.
That's excellent.
Then.
There you go, Jason.
Yes. See,
Tom's
there we go.
saying, yes, Jason, Monster Truck TLR team.
Then I put the hat on, right? And then like 5 minutes later, a new update, Jason gets traded to Techno or something. Now I'm the stunt guy. I got to put the other hat on. I got to do
Axial. Stunt. There goes that monster truck gene.
That'd be excellent.
So, that was. So then we moved down a couple to Brandon Powell here, and he's saying, what driver is the biggest surprise that's making a move in 22, I guess.
Assuming the question like is for me first. I don't know. I was surprised by Tom and Mason. Like maybe that's recency bias or whatever, but I don't know. None of the other ones like really, I would say, surprised me a whole lot. I mean, maybe the whole, maybe Marco Ruffalo like changing everything, like not just one thing, but like all of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I think for most of the guys, it was like one of those things where maybe, you know, whatever the path is for them at whatever company it was kind of like a good time to move on. Most of the people's things that I've seen right now make sense, where it's like, okay, you know, you're going there, like that'll work for you or whatever. So there's still a couple that I'm, you know, kind of curious about. It seems like, from what I'm hearing, it seems like we're still going to see Orion Lutz around at the races next year, but it may not be with, you know, the company that he was at previously.
Okay.
I don't know where he's going to end up, but I'm happy to hear that it sounds like he is going to like be doing something and he's going to be racing full time. So I think that's neat. I don't know what that looks like or who that's with, but he's like one of those guys where it's like, I would love to see, and he can't do it. Like he's a family man. Like he's got a family to take care of and a lot of kids and a lot of stuff to kind of like take care of. But it would be so cool to see him take like kind of a low salary deal with like a really established company with the ability to make high bonuses on contingency or whatever. And then, you know, end up with like good engines, good, you know, tires, good everything, and just put a year together where it's like, what can you do if everything works really good all the time? Like I would love to see that, because he's just one of those guys where it's like, I want to see all the puzzle pieces fit, and then what happens. Like that, I think it'd be cool. And I think that, you know, obviously, like I said, I don't think it'll actually happen because, you know, to do that's a big risk, and to, you know, to get somebody to convince a brand to do that is a lot of trial and error too. But I think it would be really neat, like in a perfect world, to just see that happen.
But I mean, but he is definitely still going to be racing, right? I mean, that's the word, and he's kind of going about it a little bit different way or something.
Yeah, I don't know what he's one where I don't know what the plan is. Like I've tried to ask him, I've tried to, you know, find out other ways. I don't know what it is. But yeah, he's told me he's gonna be, you know, at the races next year at all the big ones, which even this year, like he didn't go to some of them. But he'll be back at all of them next year in a, you know, full racing capacity, which is cool.
Full capacity.
All the capacity.
You know, and that's, you know, kind of on the car side of things. I didn't really think about the whole Buffalo changing everything. That is a tough, you know, back in the old days when I did that for 2 years, I changed everything, and it was like, I didn't, you know, once I started, I was like, I should have. It would have been nice to only had like maybe one change. You know, when I changed everything, I was like, you know, I didn't really. I think I've talked about it before, but the electronics is what really surprised me the most. I thought I'd be able to just kind of ease into whatever electronics that you start running, and it was no big deal. But I missed my other electronics, I think, more than I thought I would.
I mean, I changed from an old M17 to a new M17 yesterday. Like, shout out to my dad for picking me up a new one. That was nice of him. But like, even that was just weird. Like, I had to go and like turn the spring tension in the steering all the way down because my radio is 3 years old and it was like completely blown out. I want it to feel like that. Like, so I can't imagine, you know, changing a car, changing engines, changing tires, changing electronics, like all in one. Like it sounds like a disaster to me. But I mean, he got a second in his first race. I think that's awesome. I'm a little, you know, partial as like a fellow techno driver. Like, I think it'll be cool to see what he can do, but it just sounds like so much work.
Yeah, I know Mayfield did it several years back. I think when he went to TLR first, I think he changed pretty much everything. And maybe even when he started running Mugen and Yokomo, he changed most of, obviously besides the tire part of it. He changed, cars and electronics and all that stuff. And
Did we bring up the change over to Yokomo and the half a month he ran for Hobby Wing or whatever it was, and then back to Orion? Or we just gonna let that go? We'll just move on.
yeah, when was that? That was when he started with Yokomo, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah. Ran like a month with Hobby Wing. And then eventually was back with Hobby Wing a couple years later. Yeah.
It all came full circle eventually.
Yeah. And what's funny is there's certain people that I think they actually thrive in these changes. They actually like the idea that they're making a change and they kind of have to reprove. Is that even the word? Reprove themselves?
It is now.
We just made it up.
It's hyphenated.
Reprove.
Reprove.
I like that.
And there's some people that really like that and kind of get up for that opportunity. And Mayfield, to me, has always been one of those guys that really responds well to the new equipment.
Change of
And
scenery.
he really likes that and does well with it. I hated it. Like, for me, I was like, oh man, all new stuff. I don't really like this.
Jason's like new servo tape.
I'm like, oh, I can't get used to this.
The guy who's been running Associated for 28 years hates change.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, it was funny. I remember when Ryan first started running TLR, when he first sent me he sent me a selfie with his TLR shirt on. I was just like, oh man, look at this.
The worst part about that was the dry fit shirts. Those things are terrible. Poor guy.
I thought he liked them. If I remember, I think he liked them at the time, but
it's like totally too much information, but like you just nip constantly in those shirts. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's a disaster. It's terrible.
it's something you have to work around.
Band-aids.
Like, I'm not even. Yeah, you have to put like a pasty
tape
on.
them. Tape them down.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's
wait. So what shirts are these now?
The dry fit ones.
Yeah, the dry fit TLR ones that they had for a while.
Okay.
They would give them out to all the team drivers. They were really nice, but they were like super thin and tight fitting. I'm like, man,
made your nips hard.
Yeah, we were like too big as a hobby to like be rocking the dry fit. Like we just can't do this, guys.
We were just talking about shirts pre-show, Jason.
We were. That's your favorite JC shirt you said you got on there.
Yeah, this is the best one you guys ever made. The material's just, I don't know what the deal is with it, but it's really nice.
You said Kirby broke down the Gildan.
He did in our chat one time. Kirby, you broke down the Gildan.
Gildan's the shit. Yep.
Right, but they have different different
there's
fabric.
two different. Yeah, yes. There's two
and whatever
different,
this one J Concepts got right. This one.
We'll have to go back to
the other ones, Jason, are just too picky and too staticky. The dry fit ones get too much static.
Yeah, when you pull those things out of the dryer, it's just like
it can shock you.
Yeah, it's like you think
I've
the
tried
power's
everything: dryer sheet, static guard. I put it on and spray myself a static guard, and it's still, I'll leave the house, and next thing you know, it just got that static feeling all over you, and it's horrible. I can't wear that shirt.
Same thing. It's the same thing with those CLR shirts. I mean, it's all bad. You just can't do it.
No upsides.
But this is also why when I like make an order for J Concepts and I'm like, hey Allison, can you send me an XL shirt? I never get a shirt. That's why.
Oh, okay. So you don't get a shirt either?
No.
Great.
I got one. I got the one I'm wearing, and I want to get some more, like so that I have.
Yeah, Tyler, it's like pulling teeth, dude. I've been trying to get shirts, hats. It's just like I'll get them eventually, but it may take a year or two. But
look at it as he wears a 2021 hat.
All right, yeah, I got the hat. Yeah, I was
Kirby's
shocked when that showed up.
Kirby already moved on.
I was gonna wear it, but Michigan's playing in 2 days. I had to rock it.
All right, well,
that's fine.
But yeah, it's like pulling teeth. It's like you're opening up Jason's wallet. Like he doesn't want to.
That's how Jason views it. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. Anytime I ask for something, it's like, all right, well, I don't. We don't have that. We don't have it.
Let me check with Allison.
It's the same at Live RC though. Like I've been trying to get like new shirts so that when I'm doing interviews with people, I don't look like a hobo. And it just never happened. So I just had my own made. Like I called Mike Garrison up. I was like, "You have logos, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, we're good." So I just got 4 of them made just from him. So we're all good.
Just took it in your own hands.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we went over the biggest surprises for Tyler, I guess,
Mhm.
in 2022.
RC Jers.
I heard you guys talking about Joel Johnson. Like he's a free agent now. You could sign him to J Concepts.
That would be interesting.
Ooh,
Oh,
what
Jason,
a
you
brand
got to do
ambassador
it.
would that be?
You have to do that, Jason.
Just for the press release. Then it's just like, oh, we're not doing any races.
That's all that
yeah, who
matters.
cares?
That's
Well, you know what you would do is you'd have to set him up with Dieter at like one race. And
problem.
you just go all out. Like you get the original Magic paint job, like all the
Oh man,
and you have
the
Dieter
stars
there and
align.
everything.
That's all you need.
that
Dieter
is
and
so
Joel?
epic.
Epic.
Oh yeah, epic. Ernie Prevetti Incorporated. What was I gonna say to you? You have to do that, Jason. For me, at least, sign Magic Man,
Forgot.
and then we
Gotti
can get
gets a-
apparel.
Gotti
Then we
gets
can
a-
get shirts, and hopefully I can get a shirt.
Gotti gets a bill in January.
Yeah,
This
I
is
got
for
a
you.
He's like, I think we should really have Magic T-shirts.
Oh man, that'd be so awesome.
You just
Okay.
bring back the shirt with the 3 lines with the colors and just do Magic Man colors.
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
lines and 3 dragon. Or no,
White,
is it a dragon?
pink, purple.
No, what's the
Oh, the Godzilla.
Godzilla?
Kirby doesn't.
The
like
Godzilla. That was tough, man. I never got it. But
The best
I
shirt
guess
ever though was the Magic Motorsports shirt.
Magic Motorsports.
Yeah,
Was that for the Pinions or the Spurs?
and then it said
Yes.
Joel Magic Johnson on the bottom. I thought I was the shit going to school with that on. Even though nobody knew,
Going to middle school. Yeah, right.
nobody had any idea what
Nobody
RC
had a clue.
was. They're like, "What the hell does he do? Like, what is he doing?"
When
You
I
guys
was in
have to-
school.
Like I don't want to get filleted, but you guys have to understand that. Like obviously I'm from a little bit different generation, so I got to start
lot.
working. Yeah, I got to start working with Joel at AKA, and like I always loved talking to him. I was like, man, like this dude's cool. Like I'm learning a lot. Like, and I knew obviously that he had won, a couple of national titles and like a world championship, but like I never sat there and like really thought about it. And then just one day it just clicked. Like I was like, every Magic Man thing I'd ever seen on eBay, like every Trinity product I'd ever seen. And then I like Googled it and it was like 4 world championships or something ridiculous like that. And then like 40 national titles. And I was like, this is the
Wow.
dude that signs my paycheck. Like he was really good at toy cars, like really good. Not even like kind of good. Like I'm kind of good. Like, he was
magic.
really
He
good.
was a god.
Yeah.
Like I think Ernie even said, if Joel doesn't win that race, where was it, Japan or whatever?
When Joel's like 12.
There's no Trinity.
Yeah. It's just wild. Like I just
It is.
one day it just clicked and I was like, oh my God, like this dude was the man. Not
Yeah.
a man, like the man.
I'm in the presence of greatness.
Yeah.
And he's signing my checks.
Yep. It was neat.
Yeah.
Now he's skiing.
That's cool. Skiing.
Yep.
Joel.
Wait, what's he doing? Skiing?
Ian. Yeah, he and his girlfriend are I think building a house somewhere where it snows and they're skiing.
Wow. Okay.
Retirement.
Retirement life.
I know he got prescription Oakleys. I guarantee it.
Well, in
Actually,
those old
this-
days, he did.
He probably got LASIK at this point. Yeah. Yeah.
Those ones that taper back. What are they called?
Those
Blades?
were like Mumbos, might have been Mumbos back in the day.
Okay.
But yeah, he had showed up to a nationals I was at with Blue Iridium prescription Oakley sunglasses. I'm like, what the heck? That's like $1 million.
Yeah. Well, he just had that deal. He had a
Looks
$1
so
million
cool.
Oakley deal.
Yeah, it was amazing.
He was awesome. Still is. That's a dude we need to get back on.
I mean, he ran. He ran that 8 scale on road nationals at his track there in California last year, and he was a badass. He was like in the running for TQ, I think. Did he qualify second or third, something like that?
I want to say 4th, but I think he TQ'd around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did really well. I think there was a chance that he could have been in it, podium, or be in the top, and maybe he broke in the main, or I don't know what happened. But
Yeah, I think he blew a motor up or something.
okay. But
These
yeah,
young
I mean,
guys that have no idea, like, who's this 50-year-old guy TQing around? What?
it's
Crazy.
probably the perfect 8 scale on road's probably the perfect class for the older guys, because it's definitely about what you know, and having
Racecraft.
yeah, and also that particular form of racing has a lot of older guys in it. It's I don't remember who won. I think it was a younger kid that won, probably the youngest one, but Tossolini I think got second.
Oh yeah,
Um,
here's a throwback.
and I just saw Chris Tossolini he was at that beach line carpet race that we did at Coco. He was just down there hanging out, and I mean, I've known him forever. We talked about that race a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, I thought I could go out there and run pretty well," and ended up getting second, whatever it was. And he's always been a really good driver.
Oh, yeah.
Tossolini just did that Miami GP, I think.
Okay.
That one looked wild though. Like I just looked at the results, and it obviously 45-minute mains for both the big nitro classes, and it was like the spread of laps was
Crazy.
I mean, kind of seems like it's like that at a lot of the big nitro on-road races lately, where it's like maybe the winner and second place are separated by a lap, and then like third or fourth is down like 10 laps. You're just like, how did we get here? But I mean, I don't know. That type of stuff seems like it's really hard on those cars. So guys have
yeah, I could see that, and I think there's probably there's the haves and the have-nots more so in that type of racing than there is in any of the others, in terms of having the car and the engine together in on-road 8 scale. I think you got to have your stuff together to run that fast, because it's like there's not like fuel mileage going on in that class. Like it's like if you're getting good fuel mileage, like you're basically off the pace. Like
Right.
you have to be pitting all the time if you're like a badass, like every 4.5 minutes or whatever it is. Like they have a hard time doing 5, or I forget what it is, but yeah, the badasses are like pitting all the time.
It was like I got to announce the Worlds in Miami for 10 scale sedan, and it was like, it sounds terrible, but it was like the most clued out, like the Worlds, just the Worlds. I don't know how it is, for big nitro honor races, but it was like the most clued out form of RC racing ever. Like it was so strange. It was in Miami, which was rad, and like the track itself was really cool, but like dudes are showing up in like Porsches and Ferraris and stuff, and like there was just money everywhere, and like these dudes have like 7 engines and like 3 cars with them, and like everybody's like showing up like this, and I was like,
yeah,
the normal,
that's what I'm talking about.
RC doesn't exist like this for everybody else. It's like, where are these people coming from? Like, it's so strange.
That's what I'm talking about. Is there's the haves and the have-nots is more so than any of the other racing, and it's like you got to come in big baller. Like there's just no like if you're gonna be competitive, you're not coming in with like a car and no pit guy and and one set of time. Like that's not gonna work. Like you got to have a case of engines. I remember as a Kalari, I guess he used to go to races, and just he had cases of engines and he would run them, and he's the guy that's won 9 worlds, I think.
Yeah.
And so was Masami's 13 or 14? I think Masami's is it 14? I think it's 14.
Jason, you should know this, Jason.
Yeah, come on, Jason. He's your buddy.
I messed up between.
He's your
13 and
buddy.
14.
Um,
just-
you looking it up?
I'm just one of his crew.
Oh, okay.
Mid-teens.
I think.
Let me shoot a message. Hold up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Which Facebook account?
I
I know.
lost
There's
track.
like 10 of
He's
them.
got a. I have no idea what he's doing on Facebook. Like he's got all kinds of stuff going on, and it's just like it seems like kind of a mess. Like it's hard to kind of figure out what exactly he's doing, and it's probably cool, but
His Instagram's cool.
I don't have him on Instagram. Maybe that's my problem.
I just stumbled upon it. Like you'll have to check it out. Like he's taken a lot of his either nationals or worlds cars. He's taken a bunch of pictures of them and like highlighting the stuff that was special about like each one. It's pretty cool.
Going now. Kirby and I are going
Yeah.
now.
I love
diving
that
in.
stuff.
They're diving in.
I love
It
that
was
stuff.
neat. Like he had a two-wheel drive buggy where it had to have been a Yokomo, and like the rear of the chassis where the rear arms and everything attached, he cut everything out. Like the only part of the rear chassis was just to put screws on to attach the rear end. Like that was it. There was nothing else. I'm like, how did this thing even stay together?
The cars they dug out and they shipped back. One was Cliff's 1991 Yokomo that he won the Worlds with in Detroit. They shipped that back to Cliff, I guess. And then they shipped Mark's Yokomo back to him from when he won the Worlds in '95, I noticed. And there was a 12 scale, I think, to Mark Reinert. They shipped back to him. Strange, though, because I think Mark Pavitas has a Yokomo at his house. That's looks like his World's car. I told him that. I'm like, so if you have two now, you got to give me one at least.
No.
But Cliff's, to me, that would be a really cool one to have. I remember Cliff's Yokomo because when I was at Associated working there in the summer, they had a wrench room that we would wrench in, Mark and I, and there was a room next door that they would keep all the stealth cars and all kinds of crap that they weren't using.
Area
And Cliff's
51.
and Cliff's like World's Yokomo was just sitting in there, like just a bunk, with the rest of the junk, basically, like stuff that had been ran and thrown on the shelf. And I'm like, is this your World's car? Like, yeah. And it's like, well, I mean, shouldn't this be like somewhere else, not in here? So anyway, at some point or another, it got shipped from there back to Yokomo in Japan. And now it looks like they're shipping it back to him, which is actually kind of nice.
Jason stumbled onto Area 52.
We were in there. That's where we had a bunch of. Josh Cyril was there one year, and we had our epic tire fights in the back warehouse. Mark Pavitas with he had so many Reedy motors on his pit area that every couple weeks he would just straight. He had to clear out off the bench because every club race Reedy was giving us a new motor. So it was like, hey, you guys going to race tonight? Yeah, new motor. We're like, okay. So that at the end of the several weeks, you just have motors everywhere because Reedy's like every club race, he's like, you want a new motor? Sure. New motor.
New paperweights.
Yeah. Paul brings up the case of the 897 bearings. That was a part number that Associated has, number 897, where the RC500 bearings that Kirby probably used those in his 10L. I think they would go on the rear axle. The rear axle bearing. So that was the bearing to have. And if you're running on road, you wanted new ones all the time. And I remember we'd go to like the Worlds or something, and Mark's like, "We're going to the Worlds, right? Do we need bearings?" Like, yeah, we need bearings. He'd take like a whole sleeve of them, like, and it was like two in a package back then were like $20, $25. Like two in a package were like $20,
Wow.
$25. And it's like we'd go to the world with like a whole sleeve of these things.
Of 897s.
Yeah, 897
Right.
bearings.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's still a current part number. Probably isn't. It's probably the same one that we use in the steering on our new.
The Bell cranks.
Yeah. Right. I think that's the same bearing.
Wait, like, what were you using this for back then? Because that's a small bearing.
Well, the 897 bearing was a flanged rear axle bearing. So the pan cars had a solid graphite axle across the back pod.
Right.
And you would have a flange bearing on each side.
Okay.
And since it was one bearing on each side, and they were kind of a thin bearing that was flanged.
It was kind of a large OD, but a large ID also. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they didn't last. Yeah.
Yeah. They felt great when they're brand new. You put them in, they're like, man, these things are amazing. You run a little bit, and all of a sudden they're like,
why are they crunchy?
Yeah. So like all of a sudden, Mark would show up with his, So Paul's saying they had him in the hub too. So I guess there would have been two on that side.
Two in the hub.
So
4 altogether.
Yeah. So 897 bearings. That was the baller treatment.
Only the team guys.
You could buy them. They were just
salty.
They were just $25 a pair or whatever they were.
Yeah, you probably couldn't find them either.
Well, I'm sure they had tons of them
for the team.
That's the one other thing that I've realized, is that I am very lucky in the era of RC that I reside in, because you guys did so much work just to exist, just to have your car go around the track. It's like, I don't want to do all that. That's a disaster.
Dude, traveling, think of air travel in those days was like
Insane.
Crazy. We'd have 2 action packers because we'd fly with, it'd be 3 of us. So everybody had 2 closed bags and an action packer. So there was probably a good 25 batteries and who knows how many motors and all that. So much shit.
Jeez.
Is there going to be a lathe when we get there? Do we need to bring our own?
You got to take your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your own tire lathe, motor lathe. Yep. Take it all.
And especially with Kirby, when he was running, they'd have all the big chargers. You probably had all the turbo.
2 turbo 30s.
Yeah.
A power supply, Ugh.
Yeah, man.
Jesus.
And the big power supplies too, the heavy ones.
Yeah. Monsters. Yeah.
Those big.
I would have just quit.
So
that's all there was. It was like, this is normal.
Up above.
Yeah, I'm sure it seemed fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of got back, well, not back into it, but I'm like, I remember I was, caught up with Rob Cutman at a race. Like, I don't even take this motor out of my car anymore. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Or battery? What?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Crazy.
I mean, the only reason you change your motor now is because you're going to put a new one in.
Right.
That's it.
That's mind blowing.
Paul Winston, Rivergate Power Supply.
Rivergate, they were the shit.
Even Joel was like, "Yeah, we didn't really make setup changes because we didn't have time. Had to cut a calm, try to make sure the battery worked and all that."
There was so many other areas. Yeah.
Wasn't there also the pyramid power supply?
Yeah.
They were even bigger and heavier.
The Rivergates were cool with the big fins.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, at that time they were the lightest. So
Paul's dad probably had the pyramid at the house, the big monster.
The big monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could hook up the house to that thing.
We got the Charlie Swanka correcting us on the type of Oakleys. He was saying
Charlie's wrong.
The razors, he think they were the razors.
They're not the razor blades. Wrong. They were 2 separate
Charlie's
lenses.
Charlie's wrong.
Well,
they look like this.
The razor, yeah.
They were the insides were flat, but it was a round lens, and they were like 2 separate lenses.
Right. I don't even know which ones those were.
Joel talked about them when we had him on the pod. He remember it's 2012, but he just wrecked them when we interviewed him. He said he just scratched them. He put them. Something happened, but he had them up until 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lost Tyler. I don't know where Tyler went, but we did lose Kirby for a moment also. But
I don't know. It's probably because this is the first time I opened this laptop in 3 months.
Yeah. So
So
Tyler's
I-
phone battery might have went dead.
That
He was
could
in
be.
his car on the phone. So
I have a bunch of windows that says I need updates. So
That could be dangerous.
we'll save
No,
that for
well,
later.
yeah. All right.
Priorities.
Well, Tyler drops back
Priorities.
in. We'll add him.
I do have a pair of Oakley razor blades.
So Charlie, you are wrong on that. See, he was saying we're wrong on all this stuff.
That's
but
what
he's
That's
wrong.
what Cliff Lett was.
Right.
That's what Cliff Lett always ran them.
Right.
And actually, I'll find a photo.
And Cliff couldn't rock him as good as Joel could.
And I did the side by sides. Who wore it better? And it was a picture of me and Cliff.
Okay. There's there was always
There
some
he is. He's
good-
back in.
Yep, Tyler's back.
and now he's in
my
portrait
computer died.
mode.
Gotti call.
Oh, I thought you were on your
Oh,
phone.
there we go.
Oh, okay. Got his laptop in the car.
Oh yeah, ready for
Need a
work
power
all the
supply.
time.
Yeah, see that? You need a power supply.
Get that
Yeah,
Rivergate
right.
power supply.
Yeah.
I was like panicking. I was trying to see if I had an actual plug-in for my computer in here, and there's not one. So phone it is.
We have your
No
audio
worries.
a little muffled compared to before. I don't know what that might be, but
Probably just a different mic. Maybe
I'm gonna have to go this way, but I can get closer.
There
to
we
my
go.
head.
that's good.
that's way better. There you go.
Yeah, we'll just do that.
It's getting real close now.
Coming in, Gotti.
So we got Kyle Predmore that is mentioning here. Charlie wanted to know if there was any talk of signing me again to JC 2022. I think he's just asking about. He just kind of wants us to talk about him being signed.
Kyle?
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Are you going to sign Kyle? No. You're off the team.
we
Next.
That didn't hit the major websites.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna bring up. I got an email from Allison today that said that Jason might be on the chopping block for next year.
Oh.
I didn't know if that's what we were.
I
bringing up
kind
or
of
no, but-
predicted that, to be honest with you.
We had some influence.
On the chopping
I don't know how it
block
all works.
isn't-
I was figuring with the shirt debacle, she might be ready to set us all on fire. So, you know,
Hmm.
sorry, I'm trying to follow the chat too at the same time, but
Oh, but Kyle's saying he already signed. Well, we'll have to talk to Allison about
Okay.
that. All right. Well,
and he's getting all the shirts.
dang
That's
it.
where the shirts went.
no, I'm asking for an XL, not a double XL.
He said VP Pro was all
Oh.
over him.
All right. So
He's trying to get a deal done.
Are they still around?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
are they
Oh.
really?
I didn't see any signings lately. Sorry.
Dude, they're always around. They're never
They're never going away.
going away.
Got some really similar looking tires over there. I can't quite put my foot on where they came from, but
So they're still copying?
Oh yeah. They
Wow.
they kind of did. They pretty much copied our Truggy body the other day. Our
That's
new
epic.
Truggy
They're
body.
trolling you, man. I love it.
well, they had the old one already, so they needed to step it up.
Yeah, they gotta go to the new one.
Oh my God. Remember? Oh, geez. When those bodies dropped,
Oh, the truggy body? Yeah. It's a
I
nice
showed up to
body.
the Nats. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they are different. I was completely oblivious. And then I saw all the chatter. I'm like, oh shit. This really, that was a shitstorm.
Yeah, Charlie loved the new Truggy bodies. I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys that was really behind those all the way.
I think they look 100 times better. Just my opinion.
100. Charlie also
Charlie
mentioned.
Smike is saying my favorite part of the holiday season is sponsorship announcements on social media.
Oh, me too. I love it.
We're well into that now.
Yeah.
Are we past the
We're
peak
deep.
now? Are we kind of on the down? Are we on the backside or?
I don't know, because a lot of those yesterday were I'm leaving such and such thing. So that
But not a-
usually is
So now we
followed
now
by,
we have an
like,
arriving one.
Right.
yeah
2022 is
Coming
next.
on board.
Yeah, it's weekend. A couple
yeah.
days away.
New year, new me. Hashtag
Yeah.
flying at the test track. Like we still got all that.
Let's see. Road to something.
Yeah.
Everybody likes having a road to something.
It was always the
Road
road
to
to Reedy,
redemption.
but we don't have that anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
it was the road to Reedy.
I was on that road. It got derailed quite a bit. Like,
You know the one like I like is, and I try not to ever use this, is the when a race is over. Well, so and so race is in the books. Like the books to me, that's the one that gets me every time. When
it's
something
got to
is
be
in
such
the
a
books,
big book now.
that book, it's like
Huge.
that. Have you ever seen that guy, that meme online of the book
About understanding women.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It's the guy in the library and the book is like so tall. That's the book that all the results are going into.
Right. That's
The
good.
dust has settled. That's a good one Paul just brought up. Well, the dust has settled.
Or Throwback Thursday.
Here's another one. I
From
learned
3 days prior.
I learned a lot. Everybody likes I learned a lot.
It's always a learning
Because if you're not
experience.
doing good, because if
you're going to be learning.
you're going to be learning a lot. So
I learned a lot this past
Better
year.
be learning.
So much.
I go to all these races. I don't learn anything.
Exactly.
I'm just
It's like,
I didn't do good. I didn't learn anything. Didn't have any fun.
That's how
But
I
I'll see you
was. I
next
didn't learn
year.
a damn thing.
But I'll see you
No
next
matter
year.
what.
good trip, great people.
I talked to Jason about this. I have one experience working for J Concepts now, and then going to a race where Jason actually raced. Just one, and it is the funniest thing to watch because
Was he a diva?
no, he's the total opposite. Doesn't show up with a pit mat. Doesn't has his tool bag but no parts in his car, and that's it. And so not gonna make any setup changes because who cares? Not really gonna practice that much because who cares?
Because what difference is going to make, right?
Yeah, who cares?
The car barely drives, so we're good. I mean,
the car looked good, but
Yeah.
I was informed that it was worked on 3 months ago by Lee Setzer. So nothing has happened before the race. So, we're putting it out there pretty early that not a lot has gone into the prep for this event. And he drives good. But then now that he's, first round goes good in both classes, gets up close to a top 10 in mod and then TQs 40 plus. And then the racer shows up, not in the pits, but just on the driver's stand. I can watch him visibly on the driver's stand, and it's 1997 Jason Ruona is showing up for 5 minutes.
Come on,
And
you
you're
have to
like, you
mention
can-
96. That we
96.
also
well,
said 96.
that didn't go so good.
97's better, but 96 is more of a frame of
stopped-
reference here.
Okay.
Could have stopped the double X4 in its
But,
tracks.
But you can see the real racer show up, he's there. But
Right.
then no matter if the run went good or bad, you can see he's angry when he's on the track, if something goes wrong. But as soon as he comes off the driver's stand, it's back to well, didn't work on the car for 3 months, so who cares? It's fine.
Why start now?
It's the craziest dichotomy of there is a racer in there, but he's only going to show up when he's on the track, and that's it.
Dichotomy.
Jason's he's marking that down.
Google.
That word.
Google.
Google.
How do you spell?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to spell that.
You ever Google a word trying to spell it and you're not even close and it won't even pull it up?
Right?
That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
frustrating.
Absolutely.
You're just I gotta be getting close, and it's still not showing it.
You're trying to text it, and you hit the it's showing up red, and you hit it, and your option isn't even there. You're
It
just
changes
oh,
it.
God.
Changes it to ducking.
Speech to text.
Oh, it's all bad.
Charlie says if these racers would have learned something, they would have moved on? ? I don't.
Oh man, yeah. I wish I actually could learn something and then go faster. I learn a lot. I just don't apply it very well.
Charlie Swanka says the best innovation of the century: the trug boat body. Trug boats. You got that meme.
Tugboat.
That's
Oh, yeah.
the tugboat. The wrestler.
I can honestly say that wasn't that first day when the official photo popped up was not a fun day to be the techno social media guy. I can't put that in my top 5 work days. It's come around and everybody likes it now, and I it's pretty cool, and it's cool to see everybody else adopting it. But that first day, was
That first day.
oh,
There was a
That
lot
was-
of
that
there
was
was a lot
rough.
of lot of deleting and hiding. I've been there.
yeah, it was not good. And then I also I gotta say I got in a little bit of trouble for posting when
Uh-oh.
Tebow won. He won something SIC or something like that with the Treggy, and I pasted Mater on top of his truck flying through the air,
Ooh, yeah.
and it got like 400 likes or something ridiculous, like more than anything I've ever done like purposely. And I got in a little trouble for that one, but I don't take it back. That was a funny meme, so it's fine. But yeah, now everybody likes the body or doesn't like the body or whatever, but we've all moved on. There'll be something else to get really angry about later on.
Right.
Tomater. So you got to put up Kirby's photo of him and Cliff rocking these sunglasses, Gotti. You got to get working on that.
Where am I going to get that from?
I sent it to the chat, guy.
You did? Oh.
Yeah. He's like, can I Google that?
I'm like, how the hell am I going to get that?
He's like, how do you spell Clifflet?
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Let's see if I can.
Oh wow!
Pretty interesting. All right, you guys talk amongst yourself while I set this up.
Oh, that's the worst. Now we've been prompted. Like now we got to figure it out.
Charlie just mentioned he's been Googling the whole time to find the picture of Joel with the glasses.
Well,
He's
we're
like,
Good luck. I wish he could pull that up.
I can picture it. I can
I
picture what it
I
looks
can
like.
visualize it.
Well, he's trying to pull up Joel with the razors, but I mean, that's not
Nah.
what you were talking about.
I'm saying Mumbos. Oakley. I'll just look up Oakley Mumbos.
Just because I haven't done it yet, and I probably need to. What year would have that year would that have been?
So
Early 90s, probably.
93. That was pro car era, and I think that was 93.
Here's
I was
where to look.
-4.
Here's where to look. Charlie needs to Google the 91 Worlds in Detroit. I think there's some pictures of Joel with those glasses on.
They had
They
the
were-
Worlds in the 90s.
Oh, of course.
Even the 80s.
Come on, Joel
You know,
Johnson.
The
81
first
World
world,
Ramos.
the first world champion, 1977, Butch Krols, who is on Facebook and has some pretty awesome photos.
Oh, wow.
He's the
that's
first
cool.
ever
Shit.
IFMAR world champion.
Butch Krols. I'm gonna need you to send me that name because like that would be a cool flashback Friday.
That would be an amazing. No, Charlie here disagreeing with us, of course. He says 78. he's just over here just playing the other side, you know.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
playing heel.
So what about Norca? Did anybody in this chat race Norca?
Come on,
Kirby.
I raced Norca.
I raced in
Kirby.
Norca. That's Jimmy Babcock's.
No,
Goddamn.
no.
That's wait. What are you talking? I'm talking Norca Nats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Norca
Norca Nats, but
Yeah.
he didn't run it.
JR.
No, but that's the
Gotti's
Nationals
got
Jimmy
it.
Babcock one.
Gotti has
I-
it. It's J.R. Sitman was the guy that ran.
Oh,
um,
who ran it? Was that the question? Oh my bad.
Oh, I
there was
ran.
no
I ran in
There was no
Norca.
question.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like, did you race at one?
Yes.
Oh, I did.
I won one, and the whole. I remember the whole thing was like, Norca Nats actually count against you compared to Aurora Nats, obviously. But
You know,
it was still
I-
a national with a big, large.
well, you know what's
entry.
weird
Hey, you
is
gotta take what you can get.
well, what's weird is I remember people that would say stuff like that, and then we would go to the Norca Nats, and it would be all the same people
Same,
with a bigger
Same-
turnout.
right? Same turnout,
With
same guys.
yeah, and I'm just like, well, I mean, it doesn't really, it's like when Kinwald won the Roar Nationals and the Norca Nationals all the same year. It's like, well, so I guess it was okay.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I made a ranking list this year of like 8 scale races and like how people did at them, and I had, I had a bunch of people that were just like, why is such and such race not on there? Well, it's like, well, not all of the big guys were there. Well, why are all the race time races there? Well, because all of the big guys were there. Like, what does it matter what it's called if all the people are there? Like, what do we care?
Yeah. Charlie needs to get on that and see if I'm still sticking that it's 77 worlds. Charlie thinks it's 78, but let's see. We'll see what he can do with his investigation work.
Said it's Butch Kroll's.
Butch Krolls, yeah, awesome
Okay.
dude, awesome dude.
What class?
8 scale on road.
Oh, okay. Wow, that sounds like a disaster way back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly having a nitro car and finishing a World's A final in 1977.
Here's your trophy. You deserve it.
Congratulations.
Man, there it is.
Oh my god.
Who wore
Cliff.
it better?
Oh, Kirby, obviously.
Boom.
I mean, Cliff
Cliff had
can't rock
Cliff
those.
had the OG razor blades though.
Yeah, it's still.
So you and in those days you could replace all those plastic pieces. So
it
if you
came
want,
with 2 sets of your pieces,
okay,
a straight and a curved.
you could change the colors too, right?
Well, yeah, you could interchange. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
We're just
Yeah,
gonna
that-
have that on the rest of our.
That was I was wondering. Those were the 30th anniversaries.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I couldn't afford the OGs.
I loved the hair back then. Like the mullet's coming back now, but it's not the same.
Spiked with a mullet. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
look at Charlie. He's coming in with the stats now. Look at this.
What's he got? Where's he at here? Oh, he has a link. All right.
We'll look up the comment before that.
There we go. If
77.
Mars site lists Butch as the first world champion in 1977.
Hey, see
When you write
the
your
advantage
race.
I
Got it.
had. See the advantage that we had is when we had our associated shirts back then.
I
The
had
back,
them listed.
the back of the shirt listed
Had the car.
Had the
Those are
car.
cool.
the picture of the
The
car,
side
and-
shot of the car. Yep.
Yep, and every worlds that somebody won, and I always remember looking at the shirt, going 77. Like
You're the
holy
cheat code.
cow!
Jason was
Oh my
like, I was 4 years old.
I'm like, damn, 77. I was 1.
1. Sure.
I was feeling like Tyler.
Yeah, right.
You guys raced in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
I
it was
negative
actually
20.
it was actually in Pomona at the
Ranch pitch up.
Yep. There's some really nice photos of that track from that time period, which is surprising.
I just remember that on-road track when Joel won with the Evolution. That track was like,
That's the track.
it looked like an F1 track. It was amazing.
The green
Yeah.
infields, as Gotti
Yeah.
would kind
Just
of.
love
He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
painted infields.
I find it very hard to watch a race without infields painted.
That's fair.
Paul mentioned they did a Setzer's track for the regionals. Was that a week ago? They painted it all red, and it looked awesome. They put up some photos of that track with the painted red infield. It looked great.
I just like the front straightaway at all their races. I think it looks so cool. He like stencils in whatever race it is and all the information. I think it's neat.
Yeah, he hand paints the front straightaway with tons of flames. Looks cool.
Now, does that affect traction at all? Honestly,
I've
The
never
paint-
seen it.
I mean,
I've never
Jason
seen
probably
it.
never raced on that.
I have. And the straightaway is usually one of the best parts. Where all
Well,
the
yeah,
paint
you're
is.
going straight, obviously.
Well, there you're actually turning, but yeah,
I think because like most of the time they spray it, that
yeah.
it just doesn't matter.
Gotcha. No,
I
effect.
didn't have a
Got it.
problem when I was there this year. I thought it was fine.
So Paul said he got reamed out by Joel and Ernie for looking at that prototype
He
car.
probably
at the-
did. Absolutely.
Believe that.
Stand back, young man.
By Ernie.
Like Paul was gonna copy all those turnbuckles in the
Hold
front.
up. Let me draw what I just saw here. Yeah.
He's
Paul's
"There's-"
like, I just saw a lot of turnbuckles under there, man. I
yeah.
don't know what's going
He's
on.
like,
There was even
it's
some
like-
in the rear end. What the hell?
yeah. He's like,
A turnbuckle kit for that car looked like an off-road turnbuckle kit.
yeah, it came with like 12 turnbuckles.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Um,
pretend I know what this is. I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
Gotti can
the
be
Evolution
our,
10.
Gotti
10
can
car.
find the pictures, but it has to be the first one though. That's the tough one to find, is the prototype, because I don't think they had a
It
couple
had-
parts done, and it had even more turnbuckles.
It had the Losi battery cup in the front of the battery.
Okay, yeah.
Like there
'Cause
was
the
not even
was
battery
in line.
tape. It was literally just battery cup from a 2-wheel drive car.
Yeah, it was like a JRX
Yeah,
T battery cup.
Mhm.
It looked good though. It was a nice looking.
At that point, that car was like freaking mind blown. When you like opening up the radio control car action and seeing that car was like looking at an alien.
And then them taking a dig at Associated and Cliff Flat, Gotti's favorite part.
Refresh
Wait,
my
what?
memory.
I'm sorry, I'm searching.
I remember. Oh yeah, he's going for the photo, but I remember their ad was something about how, like, they were kind of throwing at a Clifflet, because I think Cliff was in the B main, so it's like something to the effect of while the other team's heroes were messing around in the B main, or you know what I mean. It was something like that.
But I'm trying to think. I don't know if Joel TQ that Worlds or was it
No,
Blackstock?
Mike Blackstock.
That's what I
did.
thought. And Tyree finished second with a 10L.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know why
that-
we don't do stuff like that now. Why don't we all make fun of each other? Or like,
Just throw shade.
yeah,
Yeah. Like some wrestling type of shit.
It
That'd be
just
cool.
it was just a different
Oh, yeah.
time period, and there was some real hatred out there.
Dude, the
Yeah,
Trinity.
that's what I
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna say, yeah.
Trinity Losi. Associated. Oh,
Yeah, I feel like I heard
Yep.
that there was like actual like things were not okay.
It was a war. It was a
it
war.
was. It really was for years. Years.
We used to joke there'd
It
be
was wild.
a tent emptying brawl at Winter Champs. Yeah, somebody brought up the Winter Champs. Was that who
Enzo.
brought that up? Enzo. That happened to the Florida Winter Champs. I think at first it was mostly about sponsorships. It was always the Team Losi Winter Champs, and then they kind of got into a little bit of a. There's Joel with his regular glasses on. I always thought this one was
that
weird.
ad was classic.
Yeah.
I always
man.
thought
It-
that one was weird.
Odd but very tasteful. I don't know.
I was like, what is this guy like?
Very different. Jason,
He's
He's
probably
eight.
wearing the same thing right now.
I guarantee. Different haircut. I hope this is the same.
So
I rock that haircut because Joel had it.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Flat top.
I couldn't do that.
to me, this is like the picture you use in like an IBM ad.
Or a
What is-
stock photo in a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. It's Joel though. Man, you can't.
Gotti had that hanging in his room.
I sure did. I had all the Joel Johnson ads in my room.
I thought this was a good double X ad though, with the fire behind it. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was on the box too.
That car was crazy. Like, look at all this
So-
molded stuff.
Yeah, so that ad with the double X where it says fastest car in the worlds,
There it is.
that got reused. But
A zillion times.
well, no, it got reused. We'll get back to that after the Evolution 10 here.
There are like 37 turnbuckles on that thing.
Well,
Yeah, there's 6 up front, and then there's two, there was a single pivot in the rear. So
Yeah.
there was a pivot, or there was a turnbuckle on each side of the rear to keep that rear pod true.
Right.
So yeah, at that time it was just like, what is the servos on the front plate? Like, what am I looking at? It was wild.
yeah, Paul mentioned that Dieter built the whole car by hand.
Absolutely, yeah. Dieter works. He's the one of one. That guy is. Whew, look at that old caliber. Jason probably still got a couple at home.
No, I don't. I had that radio though. I had both of those radios.
I had the PCM version. This is what we should do. Just
This was the joke
All right.
right here.
All
This
right, well,
Baja,
thanks
this
for joining us.
This Baja King, this Baja thing, this world scale Baja King,
POS.
That was a joke.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Jack Johnson.
And
Jack
MRC Baja King.
Right, yeah. Jason scoffed at that.
Big time.
All right.
Yeah, that caliber.
Well, that was quite an upgrade from like the CS2P. Jesus.
It's a big difference.
Oh my god, it's not even the same, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool time period where you had to have a magazine ad. That was
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of work doing those, and very costly and a lot of work. And it was, it was how people were going to perceive that product. And
They went a long
if
way.
we could read this Evolution 10 thing, it says the B main thing in here somewhere. We have to see if Gotti can zoom up on it.
Is that better?
This is as far as it goes, gentlemen.
This is as far as I can get it to go. What are you looking for, Jason? Because I can see.
Oh,
it
right
pretty
here. It's that's an unbelievable, perfect 76 laps. Oh, you zoomed it. You went the wrong way with the zoom.
good. Why? What's it doing?
It
You-
zoomed out.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I can't do anything. I don't know what it did.
Is it the tagline in the purple? Like, I can't read it because I can't see
No,
it.
no, it's in the red block on the left.
Oh, okay.
Let me try and just
You
save
had
this image. And I
Yeah, There
did.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's copyright. No. Wait. Oh no. What's this?
Oh, chili.
It's Chili's fault.
Jesus.
Chili Duncan. Come on. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what happened here.
Are we on a Mac? Let's go Command Shift 4. We got this.
Yeah, we're on a Mac. What do I do?
Command Shift 4,
All right.
and then you can drag the size of the image that you want, and you can take a screenshot of it.
No, that sounds a little complicated. I thought I could just. I don't know what I'm doing here.
He wanted to just snap his fingers.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Actually,
I thought I was gonna zoom it in. All right. Well, anyway, that was great.
we gotta read the B main.
Those micro delta shocks on there. Oh my god.
Those things were a joke too.
Dude.
Tried to
That
work
was-
on those things, like
So-
just the parts inside, and they
Right.
were-
Obviously my brother did most of my wrenching,
All right. So.
but I was the shock guy. I would bleed the shocks, and those Dieter showed me the trick on the shocks. That's who showed me, hey, here's how to bleed these pieces of shit.
Enzo said that it looked like an Awesomatics before there was an Awesomatics, which is fair.
Yeah, it was definitely it was when the first time I saw those Awesomatics, I'm like kind of the same reaction, like, what the hell? Very a far departure from what everybody was running, It was just nuts.
Why does this thing not have shocks?
Yeah, the touring car was like, what is this thing? How does this dampen?
I remember what everybody said after the race was, well, Joel's car worked good, but it takes Dieter to set it up for you. Like, they're like, if you want to have you get an associate. Oh, now we got a real expert in here, Barry Baker. He'll know all about this.
Shit.
Because he was in this race.
Yeah, he was.
So, but yeah, that I remember people would say that you had to have Dieter.
Yeah, to set up that front end, like, oh
Set
my
up
god,
that front
nobody can
end.
figure it out.
Which side was Barry on? Like, what team was Barry? Like,
Barry
Barry
was
would've-
unassociated then.
he probably would have fought somebody. Like, let's be honest. If he could have, he would have fought somebody.
So, yeah, Barry was unassociated. I don't think he was running Reedy there. He was probably running
Max Tech, I bet, huh?
That
Is that
was
a good
after.
poll?
Max Tech
Oh,
was
was it?
after it. Yeah.
Maybe Orion.
I don't know
I
if
don't
he
know.
was running Reedy there or not.
Jason,
You'll have
send
to tell
Barry
us.
the link.
He's Barry will tell us, but I think he might have been running Reedy at that rate. I don't remember. He's running max cell batteries for sure.
Ooh, dude,
He was
that's
probably running Reedy.
that's a
So
pull.
maybe Associated Reedy max cell.
Maxell was hot for like 2 years.
Yeah.
There
There
it
it
is, Maxell.
Yeah.
I ran Maxell for like a year.
Did you really?
Yeah, shit was fire.
Was it?
Yeah,
Dumpster fire.
Oh,
wasn't
Jason.
it wasn't that?
No, I
Reedy
don't know.
shit.
No, that was what you had to run.
They had those. They were called sterling silver battery bars, or no, Quicksilver, I think. They were cool as shit. They look cool as hell. Tyler's like, "What is a battery bar?"
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We got Enzo asking if I ever raced 112 scale. Yeah, I raced it all. 12 scale, 10 scale. I ran the worlds.
You ran the world's 12 scale.
Yep, worlds 12 scale.
Well, you were there.
Yeah. I was in
Big
actually to kind of continue the Joel Johnson thing. I was in Joel's qualifier,
Oh,
and obviously he was faster, but I remember, you knew where he was on the track. You knew where he was on the track, and
I think I remember this story.
yeah, and I remember I had to let him go every qualifier because with 30 seconds to go, of an 8-minute race, of 30 seconds to go, I had nothing left,
Right.
and here comes Joel. Let him go. What was funny is I almost had to let him go in the same. I let him go in the same part of the track every single time. Charlie has the Charlie has the statement here from Trinity, but
This show. Oh my God. We
Jason,
derailed. I apologize to
you-
the people listening on audio. They don't know
Wasn't-
what we're doing.
Wasn't the story that you like couldn't make an 8-minute run and then you finally got like a good battery and was your best qualifier?
that was
that-
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Paul just posted about it, or he just commented that. He said I borrowed a pack of those special Panasonics for my C main.
Well, what happened? There's two different races.
Oh,
The one that Kirby's talking about is the race that I ran 12 scale in, and Paul had the normal batteries like all of us had, and he borrowed one of Mark Pavidas's practice packs for the last day in the last qualifier and
A
put in
practice pack.
he put in an A main run with Mark's practice battery.
Oh shit,
there you go.
that's amazing.
All right, so going back to this ad for the Trinity car, Charlie did some detective work here for us. He got the statement off of that I was referring to. It says some drivers with more established incumbent cars who dominated the B main and lower mains are still searching for that elusive 17 lap run. So just
That was
That
epic.
that's actually epic.
was Ernie or
Ernie and Tony
P
P.
to a T right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's throw some shade.
Which we have to mention. Tony passed away a few days ago.
Yep. Rip
Yeah.
P. Tony P.
Which I mean, like I said, I told you guys I'd never seen him. I saw him one time in person at a track in Orlando, and I didn't know who he was. I'm like, and then I saw him with Ernie, and finally I'm like, oh, okay, this must be
Kind of put
the Tony P that I've heard about. But obviously, a part of that Trinity thing forever, right?
Oh, yeah.
for literally for yeah, yep.
Him and Ernie.
Back when Ernie raced slot cars, Tony was the Dieter of that combo.
Yeah, he was the slot car guy, right?
Yeah, he was a slot car guru. And then he was our boss.
Yeah.
And he yelled at
Vice
Gotti a
pres.
lot.
Oh, he did yell at me a lot, but there was some fun times too. But
Oh yeah,
I was right outside his office, so I always got the heat.
yeah.
Gotti.
Like you're,
But it was
Do you-
also some cool stuff too. I mean, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
funny. Like he'd always talk about movies and stuff like that. But he had the big Mac set up back then. You know, when that thing cost a fortune. I mean, the screen was huge, and just his office was really cool. And then he had that in the corner. He had the alien in the corner
from the movie Alien.
right.
Yep.
Huge life size thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he had all the cool shit in his. Yeah. Hey,
But I remember Kirby when I went for my Dave Carpenter was supposed to interview me, so I showed up to Trinity for the interview, and Dave took off that day because he wasn't feeling well. But Dave forgot to tell me about it, so I drove all the way to Jersey, and Tony P's like, "Well, I'll do the interview. Bring him in." It wasn't even an interview because he got some donuts. Tony Bowers went out and got some donuts, and brought it to the office, and he's like, let's eat some donuts. He goes. That was pretty
very,
much it.
very chill interview.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was really. He
That's
was just
just
telling me
BS.
how great it was to work there.
Yeah.
That was seriously was it, Jason. The interview was how great it was to work there. So that was it.
That's
And he's
Jason's
like,
interview
"Can you show up here
process.
Monday?" That's what he said. "Can you show up Monday?" I'm like, "Can you give me like a week?"
You're like, I'll just stay here tonight.
Yeah. No, I needed a week, but that was really cool though. So rest in peace.
We got a lot of pleasantries going on here between Barry Baker, Charlie, all saying hi to
Chiming in,
each
yeah.
other. Then we got Corey Jordan coming in with the question here: Do you think all those vintage cars handle the brushless power of today? How do we think that the vintage cars would handle the brushless power today? I mean, I've run brushless power in my old RC10 that, back when they did they did the re-release in like 2013, 14, and I ran a brushless, ran like an 8.0 or 8.5. It was fine.
Yeah. Did you have a hydro drive on it?
No hydro drive.
Shit.
That was a gimmick.
Right.
Um,
You weren't cool if you didn't have a hydro drive, though, for real.
well, there was a
Those things are-
little span there where it got really hot,
Sure.
and
It was a fad.
well, the deal is
Explain the hydro drive, Jason, for those who don't know.
I'm listening because I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know because
well, like how
I remember using it, but I had no idea
It's
what
an
it did.
impeller with
it was just a
shock lube
fluid.
inside.
Yeah, I think Losi actually compared it to like a torque converter in like a real car, where basically it had and they call it an impeller, inside a case and with fluid in there. So, and then there was a slipper. So there was a slipper, I think, on the inside, the friction slipper. You'd want to get that set. And then the idea behind the hydro drive was that the impeller inside and the fluid would take up shock and different jolts of the track while you're driving. So it was like another cushion to the drivetrain. So yeah, that was Losi's. I think Gil Jr. got a patent on that thing. I saw the patent item on his desk when I was there at Team Losi.
Oh wow!
For that hydro drive, awarded a patent, I think, as what they say. But they used it. I think it really sold those cars in those days. It was a great accessory. They made a top shaft for the associated cars and a gear cover.
Yep.
Um,
Kinwald, that's what he won the worlds with, correct?
yeah. So the story was, with the hydro drive, there was Joel, Gotti's hero, and Team Losi showed up to the 93 Worlds with the new Double X, which we showed the photo of it before with the flames behind it. So the track got really bumpy there, and Joel Johnson TQ'd, and I think Scott Brown was second with the same Losi car, and they had the Hydra Drive on the Double X. And at this time, you're showing up at a race like this, and most people in those days, of course, you've never seen the Losi Double X before. They've had the Hydra Drive already at that time. People knew that item existed. Yeah, so here's the picture of the Hydra Drive, and the spring
there's
and
a patent right on it.
yeah, the spring
That's what
and
I thought.
and the spring and the thrust on there is the friction slipper, which is inside of the spur gear, and so yeah, that item. So what ended up happening there at the Worlds is the Team Losi was 1 and 2 with the Double X and the Hydra Drive. Kinwald barely made it in the main. He qualified 8th with his RC10. But for that qualifier, he made the main with. He found a Hydra Drive. Gene Husting got a Hydra Drive from one of the local distributors. They got the top shaft, the gear cover. Kinwald ran that Hydra Drive in the last round of qualifying in the mains, and he ended up winning the triple mains from 8th on the grid. And so that Hydra Drive really became like the thing to have, because he won that race from 8th on the grid, and
Especially the AE guy running it.
yeah. And Joel TQ'd, which I think everybody was surprised about, and I think even him. I think he
The
was
honor
kind of
guy.
I think Joel was really surprised that he was that quick, but I'm sure that's the one that kind of got away. That would have made him a 3-time world champion.
Yeah.
So instead, he's just a 2 with that TQ, I guess.
Jeez, only 2 worlds.
Yeah, sucks. We got Enzo asking if 1993 was the year Dunbar podiumed the Worlds, but Jeff Brown
5?
answered, but it was 97 when Dunbar podiumed the Worlds. He actually had a shot to win, I believe, going into the last main.
The old GM days.
Yep. I don't think there was no Hydra Drive on a 4-wheel.
Nope.
So the other thing, like, this is talking about vintage cars and how they would work with all the new stuff. What would be
There you go.
a good 8-scale nitro buggy to fit current servos, current engine in, and go rip around with?
Like if you had a vintage 8-scale buggy?
Yeah, let's say like 2000 to 2006 era.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I mean, the Mugans and the Kyoshos were still the ones that dominated back then. What was it? The MP7, was that in that generation? Then there was a 7.5 and a 777. Was that the?
Yeah. That sounds right. Maybe, yeah.
Any of those, that car I think was considered the MP7 or the 7.5. I think was considered the best car. Then there was the Mugen stuff, which has always been really good.
I've always been curious about that. Like, what if we, bolted on a new motor, new servos, lipo and all that stuff, and saw what one of those could do if set up correctly.
I think it would be okay. What I'm not 100% familiar with is the length and the width on those old cars. If the cars have grown in size at all, that's what's really helped the 2-wheel buggies, is they grew in size so much. It used to be if you had an RC10, it was kind of hard to drive because they were short, they were narrow, and all the 2-wheel buggies are so long and wide now that they aren't the harder to drive like they used to be. So I would be interested to look at an 8-scale car from those days, what the size, the length, and the width is on it. But yeah, I remember having an older Mugen. I think I had a 5 or a 4. MBX 5 or 4 was my first 8-scale car. Barry Baker here brought up the Laro, which I think Dagani ran a Laro.
There were a couple of different ones that were like around for a couple years and then disappeared pretty early on.
The ones in 8 scale that I think that when I first started seeing 8 scale was they had they had a Turbo Burns was the name of the Kyosho car. It was an 8 scale buggy Turbo Burns. And I think that was that was what they called it at first. And I think they used that Burns for quite a while. So the Burns, so it was Turbo Burns. Maybe they went to Burns or vice versa.
Okay.
But that was there was some really cool car action magazines with, I want to say it was Cliff's Kyosho Turbo Burns, and even maybe Jack Johnson or even Joel. I think he even did some 8 scale then. And the cars looked really neat. They had all the Pico, like the Ron Paris prepared engines and pipes and all that stuff, because they had all raced 8 scale on road. So yeah, Jeff Brown stating here, Inferno Turbo Burns. So they had a lot of names. That was the name of the car. Kyosho Inferno Turbo Burns.
Good God.
We'll have to have Barry comment on this, but the only one worse than that was Yokomo with the names of their touring cars. The YR4M Type Pro. They would have it would be like whole top of the box would be the name of the car.
They're still kind of long now, even with like their 2-wheel buggy, like the Dirt Mayfield 3.1 now or something like that.
Yeah, I have to ask him all the time. If I'm filling out one of those sponsor sheets, I'm like, what's the name of this car again? YZ2 DTM 0.3, I think, is the new 2-wheel, and that's short for them.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was DTM 0.3 or 3.1 or I don't know, whatever. Something like that.
Maybe it is 3.1.
I don't know.
That might be what it is, 3.1, yeah.
I think it is because it was DTM 2 before, and then DTM 3, and then whatever this one is now.
Yeah, that's tough.
We're back to filling up the whole top side of the box.
Well, that's when you have to do a name change, is when you get to the length of the box, and then you're like, okay, we've reached our max, and we got to come back with the name.
So it has nothing to do with like changing anything on the platform. It's just how many letters you use. Like you ran out of typewriter space, and you've got to like put it back.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah, I like it.
We got Enzo making a comment here. He definitely misses the RC Car Action magazines with Cactus Classic, Greedy Race. Yeah, that was the.
I'd love to see some 90s ones, because like Enzo and I would be of the same like couple of years to get RC Car Action at like a hobby town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious to like go back and see all the brands talking mess about each other in the comment sections of their different little advertisements and stuff like that. It would have been cool.
Wasn't too many that did that besides Trinity.
Trinity was the worst.
Trinity, we threw shade, and I loved it. I love those ads. Like I like that stuff. It's good.
Jason Santos mentioned here in the chat that the Pirate M1 was another 1/8 gas car.
Who made that one? That was a Kyosho as well?
Pirate, I think, was.
Could
it be a Mugen? Could it be a Mugen Pirate? Is that what it was called? Pirate M1 was another name of a car. I know that. It could have been a Mugen.
Trinity had a foray into nitro engines, didn't they?
Pico.
They just distributed
Pico.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we started that in what, 99, I think. 99 or 2000, we started getting Pico in. I lost Pico at the Excalibur nightclub when we were in Chicago. We debuted the Pico engines at the Chicago Hobby Show. That's when that Hobby Show was awesome. You know what I mean?
I don't think we can hear Kirby, by the way.
Oh, Kirby, you got yourself on mute or no? No. Try it now.
Still can't hear him.
Oh, I can't unmute guests. Their mic is not connected, it says. It says your mic's not connected, Kirby.
Yeah, because he's been
So-
talking for a while and I haven't heard it.
I thought he was talking to someone else. He didn't want us to hear it. But anyway, yeah, fun. I told the story in a podcast. I lost Pico at the Excalibur nightclub, and Ernie yelled at me the next morning because he said I was supposed to watch Pico, but it was actually Matt Francis that was supposed to watch him. But anyway, so we went to the nightclub after the hobby show, and apparently I was supposed to keep track of where he was, but he didn't speak English, and it was a mess. But needless to say, I got in trouble the next morning.
Those darn nightclubs. I've heard a lot of stories of people getting lost at those parties.
Yeah, well, that was 5 floors, Excalibur, so he was somewhere probably on the 5th floor, and I was all the way down on the 1st. And next morning, Ernie came up to me at the show, and he's like, Gotti, what are you doing? I'm trying to close a deal here. I'm trying to make money, and you're screwing it up. And I'm like, Matt Francis was supposed to watch him.
Like you have to watch him.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a great time. He was probably fine.
Oh, he did. He was fine. He got home safely. We didn't get home until I think 4 or 5 in the morning, and then we had to get up at 6 in the morning for the show. So it was a rough day.
And put your suit on.
That's when Spachette and Brian Dunbar, they took the train the other way. They went north instead of south, and they got all screwed up. Anyway,
all right.
No.
You got me now.
Charlie Swank is saying Chicago show was legendary when I was a kid and got more legendary when I got to work there. Okay.
I've heard stories of Charlie being one of those guys that lost people or got lost.
Yeah. I'm sure he got lost.
Allegedly.
A little bit lost. So to go back into that name situation with the touring cars, we got Jeff Brown mentions the name of a Tamiya car here. The TRF 415 MS XX Mark Reinhardt 2007 edition.
Oh my God.
What I'm thinking of is my Excel column row that I have for a description. I just had to grow it out and just screw up my whole document,
It goes on to the second line, and you're like, oh crap.
Kirby's
Yeah,
back. I can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Loud and clear.
I was just.
It was
hitting
on your
buttons,
end.
bro.
I tried to unmute you, but I couldn't.
Yeah. Word.
Okay.
That was another one that was a shock. Was Reinhardt winning that Worlds, right? Like that wasn't supposed to happen, was it?
The very first one he won in 2004. Yeah, I think it was. Everybody was waiting, I think, for Masami to finally win a touring car Worlds, and that was kind of getting a little late in the game for him. But Mark Reinhardt, he came down to Florida here because that Worlds was in Florida, and because I raced it, and I remember going to practice in Clearwater with Paul.
Practice.
We remember going out and practicing with Paul, and the Mark Reiner was out there with the Tamiya stuff at the practice track we did. And, he was just he was obviously fast. He did well, but he wasn't a total badass. But then when we got to that track in Kissimmee, and then when they got out the cheater batteries, they were just the Orion cheater batteries. There.
Alleged.
Yeah.
All right, break it down for me. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I think just those were the Sub-C battery days where
shrink wrap.
Traditionally the battery manufacturers had the next generation battery before most, so they could make the batteries look like a traditional battery that was on the market, but they could be actually inside. It was the next generation battery pack.
Okay.
And they thought the trick was, IFMAR kind of thought the trick was, because the previous Onward Worlds are really a lot of them, but from maybe 91, the race Paul was at, the 10 scale Worlds that Joel won, they were running cheater batteries there. at the 91 World. I'm sure Joel won that Worlds with cheater batteries. The 92 Worlds, which was in Grand Rapids, that Jeff
Whatever.
Brown. I think Jeff Brown ran that. He's in the chat. Jeff Brown ran the 92 Worlds in Grand Rapids for 12 scale. I'm sure they were running cheater batteries there, which was Tony
When you
Neisinger
get
won
accused
that.
of cheating.
Well, Tony Neisinger won that Worlds, and
3 times.
he was probably cheating.
That was-
the cheater batteries.
That was
Jeez.
definitely something Trinity was always accused of.
Oh,
And
Cheater
absolutely.
batteries.
Yep.
And then
we changed into
the-
shrink wrap.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so so Jeff Brown, we're kind of going up several years here, but the 96 Worlds, the packs were all over the place, and Orion shipped in 2,000 battery packs for that race.
That's crazy.
And you're talking about batteries, like
And
heavy stuff, right?
you're just like manufacturers like that in Trinity. You're just pulling from a much bigger pool than anybody can,
Yeah.
So you're going to, the cream of the crop is a much bigger circle.
What I remember about that 04 World when Mark won was I remember watching his practice run, and it was like a 5-minute
We're talking
run.
about practice.
And when you do the Worlds, those runs, as Tyler's seen and been a part of, it's just like a qualifier. The way you practice at the Worlds is like a qualifier. And I remember Mark being like dumped, done, off the track before 5 minutes was over. And when the round 1 of qualifying came up, the last lap was one of his fastest laps. Like, and you're just thinking, okay, well, he's got the good shit, like
Got the goods.
and you know what? And it's not that he wasn't, and it's not that any of these guys aren't deserving of any of these Worlds that they won, but they certainly had the batteries you needed in those days. And if Barry's still in the chat, he'll attest to that.
That was the name of the game.
He's had the good stuff too, at that Worlds in Pomona in '96. He was, Barry was a total badass in those days, and he had the good stuff from. I don't think it was Max Tech then. It was Orion.
He said Maxell.
Yeah, Maxell. Oh yeah, so the batteries meant everything in those days.
So
because
basically the whole deal though was like from Worlds to Worlds, it was just like greater capacity, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think there was some times when the voltage would take up a little bit, take a notch up too. But in those days, the batteries were really important. We got Jeff Brown. He's talking about the Trinity double stuffed cells. They're like Oreos.
Haters will hate.
Yeah.
Haters will say it's photoshopped.
Well, yeah. So they were really important. You couldn't finish. You couldn't finish at a high end speed in a qualifier without those kind of batteries.
You either had the pace or the capacity. But the good batteries had both,
I remember having that conversation with Reedy a bunch. If they would try to tell you, oh, well, you're driving too hard. That's why your batteries are. And it's like, look, I watched Josh Cyril's trigger, and like I would stand under the driver's stand, and I'd say, okay, watch this trigger, and it's slapping the back.
It's clacking.
It's clapping the plastic.
Well, you're like rolling on and rolling off.
I'm like, you can hear the plastic of his trigger hitting the radio. Like he's not letting off. And
Right.
But that's what you had to do. If you were going to be on pace and try to win a race like that, especially on road, you had to have the badass batteries, and you had to be a badass driver, because really at the top level, they all had the good batteries and they all had the top end support and the good driving. So it's like, they were still deserving of the win, but when you get down to a guy that might be in the top of the B main or something, those are guys that could have been in the A. And so Paul borrowed, he's talking to the 91 Worlds, I believe, or is it 92? Could have been 92, the one at the ranch. I can't remember the year, but he's talking about the race he was in, the C main of 10 scale pan car. He borrowed a Panasonic from Ralph Birch. And he said that when he went up to Tech to bring his car through Tech, it was 40 grams heavier with Ralph Birch's battery than it was with his.
That's fake news.
Man.
He's like, he puts it.
Paul Wins fake news.
He said he put it on the scale and it just goes,
You are
gonk.
fake news.
It just like bottomed out the scale.
He's like, wow. Then he ran the main and he's like, damn, I'm competitive all the way through now.
The old P170s. Those things were dope.
So when he says Panasonic, does he mean like Panasonic? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That was their attempt.
It seemed like every year there was a different manufacturer. Like Sanyo was hot, and then Panasonics came out, and they had much more runtime, not quite as much voltage, but
No
that was the
durability.
ticket for that year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it went back to Sanyo. It was, for the most part, it was kind of Sanyo most of the time.
Panasonics were trash though.
They look cool. They were like a light purple shrink wrap. They look pretty good.
They just didn't last, as far as durability.
Durability, they didn't have much voltage, but they had the runtime.
Apparently Ralph's were good.
Yeah, the
Ralph
were
had,
good.
that was probably in his PTI days, I imagine.
Yeah, he was in the main, I think.
PTI Hyperdrive.
I mean, they were good batteries. They just for a consumer, like an average Joe, they weren't any good.
This is off the top of my head.
Jason's writing. Look out.
So we got Mike Blackstock.
Is it 11 o'clock yet? What time is it?
No, 8:46.
Go ahead, Jason.
We got Mike Blackstock TQ'd. I'm guessing Joel was second. Then we had Tyree.
Tyree, yep.
I think Jay
Mike's...
Halsey was in that main. He ran for Trinity at the time. So you had Blackstock who was running Reedy, but I'm guessing that he was running the max cell batteries too. So you had Trinity. You had Trinity. So Jay Halsey. Then you had, I'm sure Ralph Birch was in there.
Yeah.
So he had the PTI. I think Bobby Horan was in that main.
Charlie, just Google this for us, will you?
Then you had Barry Baker was in that main.
Was a Mike Swagger in there at that point? I don't know.
Probably not this one.
No? Okay.
So Barry was running the Reedy max cell. So and then you had Horan who was Reedy, and I'm not sure what battery he ran.
How do you guys remember all this stuff? Like, I can't remember.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Jason's
5,
got a
6,
he's
7.
got a steel trap.
So that's 7. That's 7 guys. I got Ralph. Was that the main Ron Schur was in? Man, he might have been in that main. We'll put Ron in here.
We'll put him in.
Charlie, help.
Put me in too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. I got 8. I got 8 so far.
Oh my God.
Neisinger, maybe? Was he in there? I don't know. I don't think he did.
I think Jason can't hear us.
No, I can hear you.
He's just blocking us out, dude.
I'm blocking you.
Boy, Tyler will never be back on again. He's like, I'm sitting 3 hours in my car.
Oh, no, I'm having a good time. I have no clue what we're talking about half the time.
Yeah, me neither. Well, neither, believe me. Yeah.
Here you go. Jason, I have it pulled up. Ready?
Okay, yep.
All right.
Joel.
Check.
Tyree.
Check.
Tony Neisinger.
Okay.
Blackstock.
Check.
Halsey.
Check.
Which, I honestly, I didn't even realize that. Halsey ran. I'm blown out by that. Ralph Birch. Mike Swagger.
Check.
Got that one. Bobby Horan. Ron Shore, Barry Baker, Barry 10th.
Ron Schur.
Scolded Barry.
So
Barry.
all of mine were correct.
I did pull Swagger there.
Yep, Swagger and Tony Neisinger. Well, I said Tony right at the end.
You did say Tony. Yep.
So what year is this?
92.
Yeah.
So is this like
Right.
someone's poor mother or wife like clicking the keys to get the laps each time
No.
everybody goes by?
No,
No,
we
we
had
had complete
we had-
our
we had
what were the
technology.
The
B,
A&B lap counting
AMB,
system.
yes.
Transponders
It
were
was
like
it was a
this.
transponder that you put in your car, and then afterwards you took out and put back. That the next
So like the
beat
clip-on
had-
one, basically.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that's an associated part from back in the day, right? The thing that was the same size and shape and weight. that you
The
could
dummy
clip on
transponder.
to-
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to
True.
practice with that weight. Yep.
Trinity
we got-
made a cooler
Dude,
one.
you had to have the dummy transponder.
So Corey Jordan is mentioning here. He's asking us, so is the battery more important than tires?
Oof.
I'm think
Probably.
I think what he's
Jesus.
comparing is, was the battery more important in those days than, like, say, the
Yeah.
tires
God,
these days?
probably. Oh,
And
tires are always
Yeah.
they're always going to be the most important, but
Ooh, yeah, a little background there.
yeah, so I would say the tires are still tops, but I'm sure the battery, especially in on road,
yeah,
it was either on road or
Oval.
four-wheel drive off road and oval. Yeah, well, that counts as on road.
Yeah, I mean, you really didn't need it in two-wheel drive off-road. You didn't need that battery run life.
It kind of
Except-
sounds like maybe like not the same, but similar to just because there's not a whole lot you can do to them other than change rotors and little tips and tricks here and there. But kind of the same as like 17.5 motors now or whatever. Like you either have a good one or you don't, or you can make a rotor change or you can't or whatever. Like there's good
And-
ones, there's bad ones, and there's definitely a difference in between.
And that's how stock motors were back in the day too, like handout races. You'd have
Oh.
so a stock race, you'd sign up and you'd get a handout stock motor, and
Right.
you had the ability to buy more. And there were guys that some guys would buy like one more. Some guys would just, we're gonna break the bank and we're gonna find the best out of a half dozen or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it just
Hmm.
that source you're pulling from, it's good. Cream of the crop is probably going to be higher if you pull from a bigger source. So
Right.
yeah, that was the difference maker.
Yeah, I guess there's like one or two classes in on-road now maybe that are handout motor like that. Because I think because we've got the carpet touring Carnats this year in Dallas. So I went and checked the place out and was hanging out. And I think that I can't remember who's doing the USGT motor, but it's a handout. So I'm assuming you can do the same thing. You can buy a couple of them and pick the best one or whatever.
Right. You see Jeff Brown's comment there. They weighed batteries in Cleveland one year. There were heavy Panasonic cells that one driver left in his room.
Probably Joel Johnson.
Oh,
God, Jason.
man.
Oh, throwing
hater.
shade. Jesus.
This is Joel's room.
Hater.
So Enzo's mentioning here, he's like, is it true that all brush motors back in the day were made by Yokomo, or for the most part came from Japan? Well, part of that's true.
Almost
Epic.
all of them came from Japan at that time. It was either an Epic teardown or a Yokomo teardown. Yeah.
So what it was is, I think Kyosho had their own. Motors made,
Really?
and then there was and then Yokomo stuff was made by Sagami, was the name of the manufacturer of the actual motor. And then, but it said Yokomo on the M-Bell, but it was all made by Sagami. And then, so Reedy stuff was all Yokomo can and M-Bell based. And then the Trinity stuff, when they got big enough, then they had their own Epic N-Bells and cans, and they had their own. But I'm sure they're all made in Japan at that point, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you came out with a new motor, there was a new can, the armature,
You sent the design over there.
The blank.
the brush, the hood system,
And Bell can and blank.
yeah. And back then, when somebody would, like, if there was the Trinity, a Reedy, a company that had really their own motor build, if you wanted to be a motor builder, like we had, like Paul's on here with, his dad had the red line
He's right.
motors. You could be a red line motors, but you might be using a Reedy or a Trinity teardown. So you might be using their components, but you would build it, tune it, put your own brushes and timing.
Wind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I ran for East Coast, he had teardowns of both varieties. So it was like, it's kind of nice that, you had that option to try either or teardown.
It kind of sounds like nitro motors now, with a lot of the stuff coming out of the OS factory.
Yeah, I mean, OS is kind of dominating that game really bad right now. It's almost in sort of a bad place because there's not really there really needs to be another engine or two that really can kind of stand up to the same.
So it doesn't have like much competition, is what you're saying then?
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of the the companies, whether it's ProTech or Block or LRP or whatever, like it's all coming out of OS.
But yeah,
I mean, when
same platform, pretty much.
Yeah. And that's how it is right now. It'd be nice if there was maybe one or two others that could step up and kind of provide the same or as good a motor in the high end side of things that OS is doing. And, maybe the Reds and some others, they have some good stuff also. But it really takes that domination of guys at the top level to get that trickle down effect that OS kind of got with Ty Tessman. Really, when Ty was dominating in like 2012, 13, he had the OS stuff. He had the good HB car. He had a good time. I mean, he had the number one package of components at that time, and it really kind of started steering the engine market to where you had to have an OS engine to compete with him. That's what people thought, and it really has just kind of grown like wildfire. Everybody trying to get an OS engine with their name on it, essentially.
What kind of baffles me, and this is like completely subjective, so you can take it with a grain of salt, but maybe let's say 1 or 2 years after that era of engines coming from OS, like the 2101, the Spec 2, Tyzone engine, and all that stuff like that. All that stuff was really, really good, and it just seems like the stuff that they've released since then has been hit or miss on if it can even, if it can hold up to those previous engines. And whether it's for that reason or just for the sake of maybe the other companies not having the newest stuff, like most of the companies for a long time, like their engines have been based off of a 2101 or a Spec 2 or whatever, and like they're super good like that. I've yet to really see an engine like for Truggy that could replace a Spec 2, and for like buggy stuff, a lot of people have tried a lot of different things, but it's really hard to beat a Spec 2 base design, a 2101 base design, and the one that's like really kind of made an impact, or the only one that I've felt has really kind of made an impact since then coming out of OS is like Adams motors, which were different and are really good. But a lot of the other stuff, it's like, at what point do you kind of turn around, go back to what worked, and then start over and try again from there?
I don't really know what the answer is to that. I do know that when Ryan started running the Reds engine in his TLR, that when we went to Vegas and ran there at RC Tracks of Las Vegas, he had 2 or 3 Reds engines, and they ran amazing. This is back in like 2015, probably 14 or 15, probably 15. And I remember him running out there, and they worked awesome. And I think that, and they worked really well for him for many events. But that doubt sets in if you're having a bad race or you're flaming out in the pits, which was common in those days for not just him, but others. But
Right.
you just can't afford any issues. And Nitro in general, that's the name of the game, is issues, is to minimize them. And I think that's where people just have to, something has to establish itself as being as dependable in those situations, and then they'll have something there. And like those Reds engines were in Ryan's TLR, they were awesome when he was started running those engines. And but there gets to those questionable moments. You're on the road at some other country or some other event, and it's not performing what you thought it would be, and you get through all those doubtful situations. You look at who the guys are that are kicking butt or winning and what they're using, and they're not having any issues, and pretty soon it's catches on like wildfire.
Yeah, they were, all of the ones that Ryan ran were Pico based, weren't they?
Sounds right.
I think, because now obviously they're not. They're they come from their own stuff, but that was what was always wild to me. Like listening to those engines, they always had like a very distinct sound. Not so much the regular Picos, but like the Reds tuned Picos had like, they almost kind of whispered when they would like go down the straightaway, which I always thought was strange. And like their stuff now like doesn't sound like that. It seems like it's definitely they've upped their game, which maybe that's why they wanted to have their own machines, their own ability to do things and stuff.
I remember in those days being at the races, and that they would talk about that, and they were looking to get some freedom where they could catch up in some of those areas I think that you're kind of referring to, and maybe they have.
Yeah, the FX stuff too seems like it's picking up steam and pace.
Yeah,
and they've picked up their own companies now too, where they're doing the engines for Bullet, for the Ogama guys and all that. So looks like they're kind of stepping out to do that type of thing. Obviously, like it'd be cool to see Pico stick around. You don't see them as often as before.
Yeah, I mean that was in the old days. Those names that you're mentioning in the nitro business, that was Pico, Nova Rossi, and all that stuff. It's like if you didn't have an Italian-based engine, you were like nobody.
You were out to lunch.
And then things kind of changed around with the OS as they kind of grew and got better. I mean, a lot of my experience with the OS was in Gas Truck, which those things were just, you get that little OS 12 engine that they had, and that thing was so amazing. What a great combination that engine was with Gas Truck. We had Jason Santos here saying that he ran into that buying up motor stuff with racing slot cars. Hard to compete when you're 14. You just had to luck out with a good one. He's talking about handout motors when you get a handout motor.
Cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yep.
That's tough too, like when you're young, because you're just like, oh man, like I can't compete. I've only got one year. I get that.
Like this old man over here just came and bought 7 motors.
Yeah.
He's back in his trailer.
Got the dyno running. Yep. Guess I'll just bolt this and run it.
You're like, I can't even spend my whole paycheck when I don't have a paycheck. It doesn't work.
All right, I'm back, guys. I'm ready. I got my pillow.
Oh, good.
Oh, you weren't supposed to see that.
That was the night guy.
This is Randy Orton.
Oh
my god.
Anyway, go ahead. I'll just wait here.
I can't unsee that.
Go ahead. What are we on? What topic?
We're actually downshifting. We're
What
pretty
topic?
much we're easing out here.
All right.
We're at
Okay.
2
Well,
hours.
I'll just put him down here.
We're at 2 hours and 50 minutes
There we
of Tyler hanging out in his vehicle.
Oh yeah. It's all good. Chilling.
I still gotta eat some dinner at some point, I guess.
No,
Just-
it's good. Yeah.
Plop on the floor and go. Just take a nap, Jason.
I think Gotti got to eat dinner.
I did. I went downstairs and got some more a little bit there and got
Oh
a drink.
man, look at you!
I told you, Jason, just get your setup at home. That way,
I don't podcast at
Allison-
my work.
Allison
Yes.
could feed. What's that?
I said I don't podcast at my work.
What if
Oh.
you could?
Well, you wouldn't be able to hear shit.
Yeah.
So where'd you guys leave off with the questions?
We're done.
Oh, okay.
Talked about gas engines. I mean, it was right up your alley, but
Yeah. There was an interesting thing there about
I was going to mention Jason should probably start. He should get into gas engines.
nitro.
Sorry, I'm old school.
What's the
Yeah.
intro quantity for OS? You gotta buy like 250 pieces, and you can have your own.
I think it's
Oh.
more than that, actually.
Is it?
I think so.
Get rich to draw up a design. We're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the question is, can you sell it? That's the question.
You slap J concepts on it, you can sell it to anybody.
Yeah.
Can you get it? Can you even get it to sell it?
You could sell it.
Hashtag supply chain.
This would be tough though, because I was on the phone with Jason earlier this week, and I was changing bearings in an engine. And he goes, "If I ever got that far, I ever had to do that. I just threw it away and got a new one."
Yeah.
So I don't
Of
know how
course.
this engine program would work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to me, like when it was that war, you wore something out like that, you're just thinking, well, the whole rest of it's got to be junk too by now.
Well, if that's worn out. Oh, this air filter
I mean,
shot.
The head is all scratched up from crashing, got a dent in the top, the bearing's blown out. Your carburetor feels a little sticky. You're just like, what am I doing here?
Good point, Jason.
Next.
Pull it into the mechanic shop, right, of your real vehicle, and they're
Yeah.
What I didn't equate was this was on your OS 12 that costs like $115.
correct.
Pull a new one off the shelf. Like this makes
Yeah.
a lot more sense now.
Yeah, a little OS for the gas truck. I mean that $110.
Yeah, previously I was like, this dude's so big baller. Like $400 engine if the bearing goes bad. Like that's crazy.
Throw it away.
Spend a lot of money because he
Skyhook.
makes a lot of money.
Yeah, I didn't race enough nitro 8 scale to
replace anything.
to go through that many. The best engine for me, honestly, when I raced 8 scale was the Reedy engine because it was slow. That was the best feeling. That was the best feeling nitro engine that I had because it was kind of like it was tame. It was easy to drive. You could drive kind of like electric style with
Well,
it.
I can't even pile on. You just,
I guess that's a compliment to Reedy.
I'm
Well,
really hoping that I don't get a phone call tomorrow for what I'm gonna say next. But there's something to that because all right, Vegas Worlds 2016, Ruona wins and the track is super blown out, impossible to drive on. Dudes are flying off the track everywhere. And Ruona motor sounded so slow. And his car was so slow down the straightaway. And I think that there was something to that. He couldn't go fast enough to go flying off the track. It was fine.
Well, lots of ill handling problems are always traced back to having too much power.
Right.
Obviously if you're racing on road or you're racing oval, you want as much power as you can get for as long as you can. That's where the battery conversation came in. But with nitro, or in a situation where you're in dirt, or it has to do with this control of enough traction, overpowering the car is kind of a big factor. And to me, when I run nitro with a quote unquote good engine, it always feels too fast to me. It feels like a light switch. It feels like I'm always struggling to kind of back down the power. Like I feel like I was overpowered, but it's just I think that's how you're really supposed to run it. You know, if you're one of the badasses, you have to drive it. You have to tune it right. You have to drive it like that, and then you get used to it.
Yeah, what Enzo's saying is like what I was gonna say. He had at that race, he had just enough power to like make the double that had this big blown out pocket at the bottom of it, but not enough to like jump into the pocket and then crash. So it was like he did the same thing every lap, just like landed right on the top of the jump, went through the pocket, like went around on his way.
Yeah. That's a big part of the game.
I still choke my nitro stuff down quite a bit and then get yelled at by the older guys on the team that are like, man, you shouldn't do that. It's like, well, we have radios that have EPA adjustments for a reason. Like, they're never going to not have that anymore. It's not the 90s anymore. Like, you can change all this stuff on your radio.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jason's like, I don't know how to make those adjustments.
That's a bad habit. You shouldn't do that. Well, why? Like, are we never not going to have this option anymore? Like, what do you mean?
Interesting.
Control it with a 25 engine.
I like it.
Tune it down. I was at a race where Ryan ran what was the next size up? Was it a 23 or a 25?
23.
I think
Truggy
he ran
ran
I think he ran a 23 in his truggy somewhere. I remember that.
You get 5 minutes of runtime?
Something like that.
Wow.
So I think we're buttoning up here. Do we have any other last requests?
Did you guys go through all these questions while I was gone? I guess there's just more comments.
I honestly think they were comments.
Right.
We touched on most everything here.
I don't even know where the comments are, so I'm out of this conversation.
Oh, you can't see them still.
No, I don't know where.
That's
Are
weird.
they in the StreamYard thing?
Yeah, it should be. I don't know. Jason.
Mine doesn't
would know.
even scroll. I don't know. Yeah.
Mine's
So
just
you've
right.
got, when you hit chat on the thing, you've got private chat, which is like, I guess we can talk to each other. And then
I had a
regular
window
chat.
covering that. I see it now.
Ooh.
There you go. You don't want to know what was on that
Too
other
late.
window.
Oh, man. It says, you should update this and reboot. I was like, I can't reboot now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You can do it now. All right. Well, so is that it for the big driver signings then? Did we talk about that at all?
We did. We did at the beginning.
Okay, we did at the beginning. 3 hours ago. Okay.
Yeah, 3 hours ago we covered that.
I
that
forgot.
part of it.
I forgot. Dang. All right.
Look at my wires.
Jason's over there having a hard time.
Jeez, I'll say. He's struggling.
What
All these wires.
Is that a J Concepts hat, Jason?
Right here, yeah.
It's a black one?
This is our prototype of the
Oh, I have that.
No, it's something.
prototype 2022 hat.
No, I don't have it.
All right.
I have one like you have, Gotti, but mine's black.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to buy it?
Buy it.
Will you autograph it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'll think about that. But so when can I expect that one, Jason? Because I can't do a podcast without that one.
What comes first, the next podcast or that hat?
Ooh.
Ooh.
This stuff will all be out very early 21. 22.
Very
Well,
early
we're at the
21.
end of 21, Jason.
Oh my
Bad.
god.
9 months
I
ago.
have bad news for you.
22.
All right. Well, I look forward to getting that. Is that going to be a fitted hat or the flex fit?
Is it dry fit? What are we doing here?
It'll be the same hats we've had.
The snapback?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
As a hat aficionado,
All right. We got one more question
They fit
here
well.
from Enzo. The biggest question being, when's Jason rolling dudes up in 40 plus two-wheel drive mod?
I'm not racing CRC.
So the same time he gets a short course truck.
Oof. Short course. I've already won in that class. I retired.
I have one.
I've won in 2-wheel short course. I've won in 4-wheel short course, and I
4-wheel.
retired.
3-wheel.
It used to be on the associate team. If you won with the SC10 4x4, you were allowed to retire from short course. And I won with that truck, and I retired from short course.
I'm
They gave
surprised
you that.
guys-
even ran it.
Yeah.
You know what? There was some moments. It had some pretty good moments. It had maybe a little more bad moments, but it had a few good moments.
Love it. The
Yeah,
incentive.
Speaking of disasters, that thing looked like a disaster.
It kind of was. There was like they kind of went way. They went really deep with that design, and there was some really cool looking things. The parts looked nice, but the whole 2 transmission thing with the belts was just not
Didn't cut the
way to
mustard.
go. Well, it actually, they could have made it way more simple, and they would still have a truck on the market, because all Losi did was made a little mini 8 scale for their 4x4 short course, and if Associated would have did the same thing, they could have still had the same truck in the market. But they kind of try to take a different leap in the class. They try to do it differently, and just one of the things they did that didn't, they've had a lot of successes, of course, but I'm pretty sure that was one of the things that wasn't a success. But we've kind of all had them.
BJ44 SCT
Oh no.
7-minute abs.
2022.
It's coming.
Wow.
Why were this is another question. Why were the shocks so short on the original BJ4 front?
Those are buggy front shocks. The 2-wheel buggy
Okay.
front shocks. They really weren't any shorter than, maybe now they have lengthened the bodies a little bit, but they were just 2-wheel buggy front shocks. So
Sorry,
that's what
I
we
mean
had.
spring on the shock. The shock
Oh,
itself was fine.
yeah.
The spring was
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it
way
was
clamped
tiny.
down.
Yeah, it was because that was what the 2-wheel buggy had. They Associated didn't have any longer springs,
Okay.
so that's why it looked like that. But yeah, I agree.
All right. Anything else? Any more questions, Tyler?
Sorry.
No, that's
yeah.
fine. That's fine.
We've made it to the 3-hour mark.
Mine's 3. We can go 4. We used to get complaints when we went 3 hours. Remember, Jason?
If you could do 3, you can do 4.
I'm like, how do you complain about it? You just fast forward, or you stop and listen later.
Hey, we're still like 2.5 hours off of Pulp MX.
That's what I'm saying. I was telling Jason earlier this week, my favorite podcast that I listen to is 5 hours.
Yep. I've been
2 more
listening to
go.
that shit since 08.
Yeah, I don't understand people complaining.
It's a long time.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, Jason, here you go. Allison checks in with food's getting cold.
Yeah.
So Jason's got to go home.
Oh, it's been cold for a long time. It's been cold for a long time.
Allison, I've been telling him to get a setup at home, so that way he's right there.
Listen,
End of story.
there ain't
But-
no food getting cold. Jason's gonna swing by like Mickey D's on the way. Starbucks
Mickey
Starbucks
D's.
and
for a
Chick-fil-A.
Those are all-
muffin.
Those are all closed.
Too bad
Already
you don't have
scoped it out.
Too bad you don't have sheets
Yeah, I could go there and get those
24/7.
French toast sticks.
There it is.
Those were good. The French toast sticks.
I might have to
had
try
that.
it next time.
See, Allison says no Mickey D's. See, I figured that's a
course.
little too. That's
Of
where they
course.
set. Like, if I walk into a Chick-fil-A, they'll tell me like, "Hey, McDonald's is down the road."
Oh,
But Jason and Allison, they're all fancy, so they can
Yeah.
get away with this.
fancy. Got to go to Chick-fil-A.
It's like when I go to Starbucks, they're like, "Sir, Dunkin's down the road." What can you do? It's just the way it is. All right, well, we better get going then. Allison's waiting for Jason. We
Yeah.
appreciate Tyler and Kirby. I mean,
Hey,
second time this year, closing out the year.
I'm back. I'm fully back in 2022. New year, new me.
Oh wow! So how many? So we're gonna shoot for 3 podcasts.
3 podcasts next year.
3 that you're gonna appear on.
Yes.
Okay. And we're gonna try and get out more than.
Michigan victory on Friday.
Oh,
We
wait.
can break that down really early in 2022. You know what I mean? If they lose, then it ain't happening.
then it's just gonna disappear.
Yeah, I'll be out for a few months.
Wait, who are they playing again?
They play Georgia.
Oh,
They're the late game. Why
I
are they
know.
playing on the 31st at night? They're gonna finish their game, and in a half hour it'll be New Year's. Like,
Yeah, as long
when is that?
providing
always,
everything goes smoothly.
Right. It's
Yep.
always the first. I'm like, what the hell kind of schedule is this? Whatever.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tyler,
watch a game
best
of
of luck
Hammer
there. Whatever you do at Live RC, you update the
That's the
page
luck of
there.
whatever you.
Yeah.
You update the page and
Silly season.
yeah, silly
All the
seasons.
silly seasons.
He reports all year long on silly season. It
He
gets
replaced Mike Garrison, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, kind of. We worked together until he went on to do what he does now. But yeah,
What does Mike Garrison do now? I forget.
full-time graphic design for I don't know what the company actually like designs, but he's full-time there, and then they allow him to run the boom stuff through the company itself.
Oh, nice.
And Moto down once in a while, I see.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys though. This was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thanks for joining
you,
us, man.
Yeah, no
Appreciate you
problem.
being on. And anytime we need some inside info, I guess we'll give Tyler.
That's why I'm trying to get him on here. So
National
Gotti.
Enquirer of RC.
I know a lot more than I am comfortable admitting. And I still, but like when it comes to a lot of stuff that we talked about tonight, I still know nothing. Like,
We brought you on to talk about all the driver signings, but then we quickly derailed him right into
And just went, we time warped.
which is fine by me. I love talking about that stuff.
That's fine with me. It's all like I'd rather talk about that stuff too. Like I don't know anything about it, and I'd like to. I think it's a cool time in RC. So
Yeah, it was awesome. Okay,
Well, Jason blew the 96 four-wheel drive Nats. Oh, well.
he did. You know
was
about
up.
that, right, Tyler?
I was
I
up.
don't.
This is
Jay-
Kermit. This is Kermit drinking tea.
Jason,
was up-
film in. You got 30 seconds. Go.
96 Nats.
All right, well,
Losi just busted out the double X4 prototype magnesium chassis. There's only 3 made. Jason wins A1 of the 3 main events.
With an associated
With
no, the Yoko.
whatever
Yokomo.
like outdated Yokomo he had.
outdated.
And then he blew it.
dang it.
I don't think that we can really say that I blew it.
That's my version.
I wasn't.
That's
no,
my
sorry.
version. So
I wasn't
It's time
TQ.
for your version. I'm joking.
I wasn't TQ. I wasn't second. I wasn't third, but I was right there.
You were
I
dark
won
horse.
A1 somehow over Kinwald and everybody else, and I'm like, single-handedly, I'm going to bury this double X project before it ever happens. We're just gonna put it in the coffin, you know,
Yes.
like
Close the
yeah, just, you know, and like I could have just imagined like them that main
first main. They're probably like,
I
What
win this race and they have this double X 4-wheel and you got Pops Losi. He's probably like, really?
he was out on a sofa on the straightaway.
Who's this?
sitting.
We have Kinwald. We have Hodap. Who's
Scott
this
Brown,
kid? This kid with a Yokomo
a dogfighter too.
dog fighter. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't end up that way. Kinwald pulled it out, and
What was your overall?
I got second, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I got second.
Wow.
Single-handedly trying to squash the whole legacy of a car, and it just
Yeah,
came crashing
That was
down.
in my hand. I mean, it was like,
it was He fumble. Oh,
yeah.
That was the problem. Is you were thinking of the magnitude of that moment.
Absolutely. I was going to say that.
the
Honestly-
moment was too big.
Honestly,
You-
I never really thought about that because we all hated 4-wheel.
Yeah.
Like that was just the extra.
Yeah, but
slash.
you knew. You had to know that double X4. It was so much hype at that race.
No, we knew the double X4 was a big deal, but we didn't care about 4-wheel. It was all about 2-wheel and truck. I was pissed because
It was like, I gotta race this shit.
well, Reedy would sign us up for that class because he's like, oh, we need somebody in
We got it.
4-wheel
Yeah.
with some Reedy power. And it's like, all right, we'll sign up Jason. It's like, you would never practice with it. You'd probably run it once or twice in practice. It's like the Truggy of today,
Yeah.
You run your buggy like 20 times and your
How-
Truggy once. That's
Jason, how
4-wheel
many
was.
times would you race it in a year?
Like 2. You'd
Wow.
run the Reedy race and you'd run the Worlds. That's
More practice. Jason needed more practice, Scotty.
But that was the problem with the whole thing, is that you were the
We're
fan
talking
of
about
that situation.
practice.
Yeah, it's just like mostly I was pissed about that race in general because of the in those days there was no IFMAR qualifying, so it wasn't like you got points for your round. It was only like fast time.
Yeah.
So there's 4 rounds of qualifying, but only the fastest run mattered.
Right.
So the issue there was the track got so fast that that whatever round the track was the fastest, if that wasn't your best run, you had no shot.
Yeah, you were screwed.
Yeah, so that's what happened to me. Is I remember the first qualifier, I was like, after the first round, I was like 3rd and 2-wheel. We had the fastest round of qualifying, and I ended up in like the C main because I had a bad run. So it's that's how it was then. So I just remember being pissed about the race in general.
Yeah.
And then you're running 4-wheel and you're just like, nobody cares about 4-wheel. And then you like win one of the mains and you're just like, well, a win would be nice.
Huh.
Well, crap. Maybe I care.
Well, look
about
at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the case was in those days. Anytime I was running well, Kinwald always ran better. So that was basically it. He was the killer.
I was just cheering for Scott Hughes.
Yeah, Futaba Radio guy.
Only Futaba Radio in the county, probably.
And we almost had
For
Chris
fuck's
Bing
sake.
on the show tonight, but he said he couldn't make it, so that would have been
Oh, Chris.
Couldn't make it.
couldn't make it.
Mm.
But 96 Nats. There it is.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, he's definitely committed to the show, but apparently not committed
Just
enough.
got to get him on the right day.
Yeah. Well, he messaged me during the show and said, "Sorry guys, can't make it." So,
Next time.
all right.
We'll get him.
There you go. Now, Tyler, when you're doing broadcasts for Live RC, just try to squeeze in 96 Nats for every broadcast somehow. Just
I'll
get
add
it
to the
in.
repertoire.
Yeah.
Just get it in there somehow.
We usually talk about how much I hate Australia, and Scotty talks about how much he likes pizza, and we can add this in, and then
Easily.
96.
We'll be on par.
Easily.
You don't even got a crowbar. That's
Do
an
that for the
easy fix.
Ripcast.
Got
Just
it.
say. And I would be remiss if I did not mention at this moment the 96
96
Nats.
Nats and Jason blew it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say something like that.
A one,
I like-
a one.
Pan-
How did you say it, Kirby? The one,
Can-
1-0-1
Go ahead,
to
Kirby.
nothing main. What was it?
Oh,
1-0.
Jason
1-0 lead.
Jason blew a 1-0 main lead.
Yeah, 1-0 main lead.
As the,
I'll like-
the camera pans to Jason, there is the perfect. You know, back in '96, Jason
Yeah, exactly. Do it.
Single-handedly.
single-handedly could have
Just
put the double X4 in a coffin.
yeah, like because that race, back then with the magazines and everything, they're doing photo shoots on this car, body
Oh.
off.
it was
it was like
crazy.
in every
It was like
magazine.
the evolution. Like
Yeah,
it was like holy shit. You know,
This is the greatest vehicle ever,
Mhm.
and yeah, we could have just put it right in the coffin.
Just
Just
get
that
some
thing
dirt
would
on
have
it.
never existed. Magnesium, what?
yeah,
Yeah. Magnesium, what?
molded who? What?
Yeah,
Mm.
kid.
Whatever I'm drinking while I'm like doing the show, I'll pour a little bit of it out for you, and then we'll have a moment of silence.
You
Yeah.
should.
Good call.
I do that every night for him.
Honestly, that wasn't the most. That wasn't the most frustrating Kinwald loss. I've had more than that. So
Oh
Yeah, but that
plenty.
one's come on.
that's become the epic one. Like I forgot all about that one until we started talking about 96 Nats.
Until we brought it up every episode.
Yeah, well, until you start talking about 96 Nats. I mean, before really it was the 95 Nats. That was the one that pissed me off.
I'm sure, but you had the chance to do something really big there at 96.
Rewrite the history books.
Okay.
Say Levy.
Allison's saying Australia was better than the others.
Yeah, it's not what I was saying. It's not that I hate Australia. I just hate the idea of all of the animals can kill you. I just think that's stupid.
Every animal can kill you.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
every single
Kangaroos are friendly.
Kangaroos
were.
are yucked.
I've
We went
watched
to that-
Kangaroo Jack. I'm not in.
We went to that little. That little zoo right by the track, and we had kangaroos there. We took all selfies with them.
Yeah, but they were in cages, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're
Oh.
safe.
Oh, they're not in the wild. No,
No, they
we were
were-
right next to it.
They
You just
weren't like
walk-
they weren't like
Yes.
free range kangaroos.
yes,
These were like
you-
domesticated.
No, you were petting them.
Yeah, they're domesticated. Yeah, no, I don't want to meet. I'm not trying to meet a wild kangaroo though.
They drink as much Starbucks as Jason.
That's true.
You seen how swollen some of those dudes get? Like they're
Swole.
huge.
The kangaroos are swollen.
I forget what I read the other day on Instagram about their muscle mass. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Not interested.
They're ripped. They're shredded.
Yeah.
And hey, before you go, Tyler, what is the Instagram handle for Masami? Because I looked it up and I can't find anything that matches.
I don't know. I'll let you guys know off camera.
Yeah,
I'll
forward
send
to
it to
Jason. Yeah, that's fine.
It's a 13-time world champ.
I can drive with my feet. F off.
13-time champ. It's
This actually was one of the most fun episodes.
It's 14XL. That's actually
double.
14X.
Oh, world.
14W. 14WXL. That's his name.
Oh, God. All right, man. Tyler, you guys are seriously, I said this on the podcast a few weeks ago. You guys are doing an awesome job with Live RC and the coverage and the camera angles and everything. It's just crazy.
We appreciate it. Brandon's been working on that stuff a lot so that we can, try to bring higher quality stuff to the races that we attend, and working on also the graphics and stuff like that. Eric's been working on that stuff so that we can, provide just like any other motorsport would. So that's the plan.
What race was that, Jason? I was watching and I was texting you and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it was amazing. Like I don't always tune in, but I did I think it was the Nationals, wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah, it was 96 Nats.
So I forget what race, but I was watching it and I was just blown away. And I think I even said it in the chat, like to Live RC. I'm like, man, this is amazing.
Probably
Just
a Nitro Nats. It was good. Like
Nitro Nats.
Cam
That's
was
what it was.
going and everything. It caught on fire, but that's okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we have a cable cam that's like ran off of a like a lipo battery or something like that. And
Did it really?
Exploded. It was sick.
That's what it was, Jason. The cable cam. Remember, I was bragging. I was like, "This is awesome, man."
Oh yeah.
Go big or go home.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was just crazy.
It was really cool until I had to resolder it like main day. He's like, I'm just gonna need you to put this back together. I'm like, dude, it was on fire. I don't know what we're gonna do with this thing, but
it really would have been nice. It really would have been nice to have the cable cam at the 96 Nats.
Oh, I would have been trackside. You could have seen me.
Man, I wish Chris Bain could have made it tonight.
I know.
Man.
That cable coming across up there, and our antennas would be hitting the cable.
Flip them and.
Oh man, I think I had a in case Bing was going to be on. I thought I had. Let's see. I'll have to
You had the banner from the track.
Did I?
Yeah.
Who was the worst fisherman back then?
Oh, there were some local guys, but I don't know of any high level dudes. There's Pavitas second from left.
Yeah.
Pavitas, Bing.
Bing's next to him, ain't he?
Yeah, Bing's right here. Yeah.
Scott Hughes. Wait, now is that Scott Hughes in like the collared shirt?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he always wore that.
For?
He always did. He never wore a team shirt.
Oh, just look. All you got to see is that block of a Futaba PCM. You know that's him.
The big monster radio.
That's it.
You had to be strong to hold that one.
That's what I'm talking about. Wagon Hill Hobbies.
Yeah. Mike Weed all the way to the left.
When I found out there was a Roar Nationals in Pennsylvania, I almost shit my pants.
You could say it. Yeah.
I almost shit my pants. Pennsylvania.
Well, it was there.
Yeah,
Crazy.
back then Tyler had never came over to the East
It was
Coast.
California or nothing.
Yeah.
It was either California or Winter Champs in Florida. That was it.
I mean, although the one before that was in Georgia, but
yeah.
That's
We won't talk about
Florida.
that.
Florida's close enough.
Yeah.
Florida neighbors it.
And the one before that was in Florida.
all right. Well, okay.
Well,
Pennsylvania.
besides that,
How's that?
They're all in
Pennsylvania.
They're all in California.
Whatever. All right, Jason, you're off the show.
Hey, name the last electron. And he's gone. Name the last two Nats in Pennsylvania.
Well,
Probably 96.
Oh,
probably is.
wow.
They even race
Well-
RC cars in Pennsylvania?
Well,
I think so.
well, You said electric gnats, right?
Electric, like 10 skill less.
Come on, Tyler. LCRC Raceway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, duh, we did that. Yeah,
They should put that there every year.
Every
I
year,
mean,
the
I might
Nitro
be
Nat
biased.
should be there.
that place
Yeah.
was sick. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that
They
was fantastic.
put on a show.
Yeah.
Well run.
Yeah, it was nice that Kirby came out. He got to witness it, and
Yeah.
a lot of good racing out there that weekend. He got to see.
Yeah, that track was sick.
Gotti didn't, he didn't quite make it
No.
to the Nats.
Pussy.
He watched the fantastic coverage. Got to see the cable cam.
That's right.
He watched it, yes.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what you guys are all talking about.
Yeah, that place was sweet though. I would love to go back.
Scooter. Oh my God. Scott.
Chris Bing, Scooter
Yeah, bro.
Motorworks.
Oh,
That's
who could forget?
okay. We got to get going.
Yeah, we'll be here for another 4.
I could talk about that all night. All right, guys, this was awesome. I appreciate everything. And again, tell Brandon over at YRC, I think they're doing great.
Will do.
I did message him, but he never responded.
Just message him again. Like that's not super
He doesn't Facebook Messenger.
No, yeah, I don't think he does. Yeah.
No. Okay. I was just giving him props, letting him, when I saw the camera angles and the cable cam.
I'll let him know.
You guys still doing a cable cam then, even though it caught on fire?
I think so.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll have to tune in. When's your next big race?
DNC.
There you go, DNC. I'll tune in for that. I love it. Sit in the living room, watch it on the big screen.
Yeah, I get to sit in a Connex box. It's probably gonna be cold as balls.
In case any of our listeners don't know what I'm talking about, liverc.com.
Hopefully they do, but if they don't,
They do. I used to be able to say like we only had 10 listeners, but that's not really true.
25.
All right, that's it. And Allison wants you home, Jason.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you got to get
relax.
going. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. This was episode 235. We're closing in on the 1 million downloads,
Ooh,
which
that's gonna be a fat check.
I don't know if it's good or not because we haven't really. We should be doing a lot more than 235 episodes in 7 years or what, 8 years now.
Road to 1 million.
Hey,
But whatever.
just blame Jason.
Road to 1 million.
But Podbean sent me an email and they said you're close, and I clicked on it and it said 1 million downloads. So okay, I guess that's
Cool.
something to be proud of, right?
Get her done.
Right on.
All right. I appreciate everybody joining us, and apologize for the audio. People listening on the audio version. It's probably a little
Just deal with
chaotic,
it, dude.
but
Deal with it.
yeah,
It's a
just deal with
podcast.
it. And Tyler was in his car, so the audio
Yeah, my bad.
it wasn't the greatest. So don't shoot me those messages.
It's all good.
Down. All right, we'll catch you for 236.
Thanks.
Go Blue.
guys.
See you guys. See you,
Go
Tyler.
Niners.
See you, Kirby. Thanks for joining us, Kirby.